NBC Sports Radio AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix.
Live from Tailgaters in Peoria, Arizona, this is Real Hockey Talk on NBC Sports Radio AM 1060 KDUS. I'm Dave alongside Greg, and it's finally here. Hockey season has started. Not just pro ranks, but the college scene too, with ASU Division I playing Air Force yesterday, and we'll play them again tomorrow afternoon at Gila River. So, Greg, your favorite is started now, hockey.
Yeah, absolutely, good stuff. And my voice might be in and out a little. I have strep throat, so. Bear with me, I guess, as we go along. But, it's always a great time of year when that happens. Once training camp begins, the excitement comes back. And then, when you have opening night, especially opening night at home, you may play your first game or first few games on the road, whatever it is. And that's great, too. I mean, it's, in general, your opening night. But the home opener, obviously huge. Coyotes tonight have the Flyers in town, and the Flyers had a big win in their first game last night in LA, and so we'll see. They might be a little tired, maybe, so something maybe the Coyotes try to jump on early, because in games like that, back to back, sometimes these teams get off to nice starts, but then as the game goes on, that's where sometimes you see some fatigue come in. Everyone's in such great shape now, though. I mean, you don't see it quite as much, but it would be nice, get off early and just kind of get a little in-game momentum if you can.
So, last night, I don't know how many people they had for Air Force. That's ASU Sun Devils, the college Division I now. First season, we'll be playing a full season against Division I teams.
Yeah.
I think there was maybe, I want to say 500 maybe.
Yeah.
Were there, for their first game. I guess that's good. And, at Gila River, so it makes it look a lot smaller when you're in such a big arena.
Right.
But the hockey was phenomenal. I'll tell you,
that's good.
They skate and the Air Force is number 18 in the nation in Division I.
Right.
Out of 60 teams, and ASU skated right up with them till the end, and I think there were some untimely penalties in the second period, which took ASU out of their flow.
Right.
But they got some pretty darn good players on this team. There's 3 NHL picks.
Yeah.
And there's some freshmen that, I don't know, they may be seeing the draft next year, perhaps. So the problem, I think, was, like it's been the last 2 games in Notre Dame, the penalties seem to go against ASU quite a bit.
Right.
By the end of the second period, I believe ASU had 5 penalties to Air Force 1 penalty.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's it took them out of their flow.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, you got to be disciplined, and I wasn't there, so I didn't see everything. I do know there was maybe some questionable officiating last weekend in Notre Dame, but again, I didn't get a chance to see it. And the first thing first, you got to overcome things and stay disciplined, stay out of the box. A lot of times at the end of the day, if there is questionable officiating, it usually comes back around per se. You'll get some calls and maybe some against you that you don't agree with, but then you'll get some maybe the other club doesn't agree with on their end. So it sort of overacts each other. But, you definitely, one way or another, want to find a way to stay out of the box and just keep moving your feet, and, you'll draw some penalties in the process, too.
Well, and that's sort of what happened in the third. It turned a little bit the other way, but I think once you give an experienced team like Air Force, ranked number 18, like I said, it's tough for the inexperienced ASU Sun Devils to always chase a game like that, and they never led. They were tied
Yeah.
at 1-1, and they came very, very close in a 4-3 game. But what was more impressive is that even though they may not have been consistent for 60 minutes, when they are, they can probably skate with any team in the nation. That's the good news. They got some really amazing players. Wade Murphy, I thought, played well. Nashville draft pick, by the way.
And, you know, something big with that is, even though it might be a tough start to the year per se in the win-loss column, you take positives from it, you get better from there. And a successful season, I mean, there's different ways that you can put that in perspective, but part of success is, you know, you get better as the year goes on. Now, yes, you want to do it quickly to the point where it translates to wins, but sometimes it does take a little time. But when they get there, though, then that's the nice, sweet day going on that, you know, they'll have. And, you know, once that translates in the win-loss column on the good side to wins,
and
you can take off.
That's right, and they got so many freshmen in the lineup. It's incredible. I think there's 7 or 8 freshmen that's in the lineup. 5 red shirts from last year where they didn't get to play. It makes a big, big difference. And you could just tell. And I think once they're gain more experience, especially against these great teams, they'll build the confidence that they can hang in there with anyone.
Right.
And that's what they did. I'm particularly impressed. He was the third star of the game with defenseman Brinson, and this is going to be interesting to pronounce it. Pasternak. Did I say that right? It is spelled Pasternak, I think. And his brother, if you can't read that one, you can read it over here, number 28. But anyway, he was phenomenal. He started off with a big hit. He jumps into the play really nicely as a defenseman, scored a goal, and he's a freshman. And that's impressive with that many freshmen on the team, that they look that good. And
that's the thing that's exciting, not just for this year, but over the next couple of years, is these freshmen, you know, kind of grow together as time goes on, but continued recruitment coming in. And so as the program, which is already a great program, but keeps getting better and better, you'll be able, you know, to have more recruits, maybe guys that in the past maybe would have gone to, whether it's Denver University or East Coast schools, something like that, or even junior hockey, convince them to come over here because I see how good the program is. And then as that time goes on and there's some good histories built with it, I mean, who wouldn't want to come there? You know, the weather, obviously, and all that good stuff there with ASU. So a lot of good stuff ahead. But, yeah, that's nice that, you know, these freshmen can kind of grow together.
Yeah, and it is 8 freshmen, 1 transfer, 5 redshirts.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. It's a completely different team than last year where they had Division I but a hybrid schedule. And I think it's really a credit to ASU to be able to pull this off in Division I. But pull off getting 5 redshirts, 5 transfers were very, very good players. And you can tell that no wonder they're have been drafted by the NHL various teams. Now, what was interesting, they had one goalie, Robert Levin, start the game, allowed 3 goals on 11 on 13 shots, I should say.
Right.
But all of a sudden, he was not. I don't think anyone noticed really. He was pulled the second period, and you had the young Joey Descartes, who also is a draft pick, NHL, and all of a sudden you could see a major difference. I thought he made amazing stops. He only allowed 1 goal in 14 attempts, and he was just amazing, and you could tell his quickness was on. You could tell he made some big saves to keep them in. They had some point-blank shots right out in front of the crease, and he did a magnificent job. So I'm not sure exactly, how they're going to rotate the goalies. Certainly I would think you'd see Joey Descartes play again Sunday. Tomorrow, 2 p.m. start. So you definitely want to check that out. I think they have a lot to prove. They hung in there, so I bet you may say the first win of the season. Right now they're 0-3. That's early.
It is, and like I said, I mean, you just want to get better and better each game. And, you take it a shift, a period at a time. You want to come out at least even, of course, each shift. But obviously a plus would be even better. It takes a little time, though, like we said. And, I mean, you get that win tonight, or your next game would be huge. And we'll see. I mean, anything's possible because it's showing how well they're starting to click. Each game getting better, because I know the first game is a tough game against Notre Dame, but then each time out, a little better and better. So, the next game, we expect to see even a little better, even extra improvement, and that could translate into a win. But again, I mean, seeing that improvement each time out is key, and the players building chemistry together and really learning the system. And what you want to see is obviously the wins, but as time goes on, when you get to November and December, stuff like that, that's where you really want to see everyone together and pull off a nice string there. But that's good to see because, if you struggle the first few games, but then you don't see improvement or it even gets worse, that's tough sometimes to get out of. But, coming forward right now with each game getting better and better, it's going to be exciting to see here this next game coming up.
Yes, definitely good hockey. Air Force has a lot of talent as well. Ben Casera, he scored got points last night.
Mm-hmm.
Tyler Ledford also did very well. And, of course, last year, Tyler Ledford tallied 7 goals and 20 assists. And Ben Casera, he returns this year as a leading scorer after getting 15 goals last season. So they're already off to a very, very quick start, Air Force. And they definitely have talent. They were passing the puck very, very well. I thought definitely the penalties in the second period took away some momentum. Like I said, there was quite a few penalties in the second for ASU. And it was just untimely when, especially when you score, and then you give up a penalty. You take a penalty. It's just probably shatters not only your momentum but your psyche a little bit, doesn't it?
Well, yeah. I mean, because you have that confidence going when you're playing well individually, but also as a team. And yeah, I mean that momentum aspect. Because in game, I mean, momentum is big. I still think from game to game, I don't call it momentum in terms of maybe added confidence, when you're really playing well and things like that. But yeah, during a game, I mean, when you're at a spot like that, especially the type of penalty too. If it's a bad penalty where maybe it's an offensive zone penalty or just something away from the puck that could be avoided, then that maybe that extra air is taken out. Sometimes there's good penalties that you got to take, maybe a opportune scoring chance, and you got to maybe do something that, might cause a penalty, maybe a hold or, a trip. Not saying do that on purpose, but you know what I mean, when they're in an opportune scoring opportunity. But those sometimes happen. But, yeah, you don't want to take these offensive zone or penalties away from the play. That takes more wind out of you, and I don't know if that's what this was, but per se, I mean, those are the bigger momentum killers.
Now, what was interesting, what I observed, is that pretty consistently it seemed like when ASU dumped the puck in, they would get they would beat the defenseman in almost consistently, but by a lot. And I don't think I see that very much in the NHL. So it either means ASU's got some really speedy wingers, or Air Force has really slow defensemen, or they're somehow out of position, because pretty consistently they had a lot of open ice getting behind the defenseman.
Well, that's good. I mean, that's why, it will show soon and really start paying off, because you need that good transition game. And it sounds like, from what you're saying, I mean, they have that going down right now. And that even get better and better and shore up some of the other things, stay out of the box. And like I said, good things will start to happen soon for the Sun Devils.
Yeah, and the 6'6" Louis Rowe, boy, he does pretty well. I mean, that's a pretty tall guy. He plays right wing, but he can get down the ice pretty good, and he looks impressive. Who I thought, like I said, definitely Brenson Pashunik. I think I said that right.
Oh, sure, yeah.
But maybe not. But Tyler Bush, a freshman center iceman, looked really good, too. I think he scored a goal last night. I think he's the leading scorer for ASU thus far in the young season.
Right.
But I would encourage people to get out there and just look at the amazing difference when you get to college, big league college.
For all the latest on the Cardinals, Coyotes, D-backs, Suns.
And welcome back again. We are broadcasting live from Tailgaters in Peoria. Come on down and join the fun. We're at 10146 West Lake Pleasant Parkway. That's Peoria. Tailgaters. You're going to love this place. A lot of TVs. We're here. And just food is great, actually. It's phenomenal food and a lot of
great
TVs.
Pizza, of course. And
yeah.
We had that competition a few weeks ago that I'm still feeling the effects from.
And so is our next guest feeling the effects, Andy Pepto, head coach of the Arizona Hawks. Hey, Andy, how are you?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Oh, we're great. And so are you still feeling the effects of the 30-inch pizza contest
Not anymore.
here at Tail?
Not anymore.
No?
No.
That's
no,
been,
it's all out of
been
me
a
now.
few weeks. Wow, we got to get you back and try it again. Or do you think it's an impossible task?
I think it's a pretty impossible task there, Dave.
Yeah, I think you're right. So tell us what's going on. You're in the regular season now with the Hawks. How's it going? Who are you playing this weekend?
Yeah, so far it's been a little bit of a rough start. We're at 1-4-1 right now, so we had a rough weekend last week against Fresno. Both games went into double overtime. We won on a penalty shot Saturday night, and then lost Sunday night in double OT. So kind of a heartbreaker on Sunday, but a good one on Saturday to get the first win. And now we're heading into a series against El Paso this weekend. They're a pretty good team. They've won the league quite a few times over the past 6 or 7 years, so it's going to be a pretty tough test against them. So.
Wow. So as a head coach, your first year with the Hawks, describe what you're going through right now. Of course, it's early in the season. You probably, the wins and losses may not mean a great deal as if you look at how your team is playing. So are you satisfied, probably not with the wins and losses, but are you satisfied with the progression of the team?
Yeah, overall team play, Dave, I'm happy. We got to work on our third period better a little bit more. Against Fresno, we went into the third period, and we had a 2-goal lead, each day, and then got in the third period and let them kind of walk back into it. But, overall, I'm happy. We're still making changes. We just picked up 2 guys that played in the OHL for the Lake Erie Otters, so they're going to be huge additions to our team. So I'm still adding guys in and out of the lineup. We've had a couple injuries, too. But, overall, I'm happy. I kind of saw this is kind of where we'd be, kind of starting out with a whole new team and a lot of young guys. But, we're adding some pretty good depth players here this weekend, so I think we'll be on the up and up coming up here soon.
And has anyone surprised you from the team that they're better than you thought?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, there's been a lot of them. I mean, the first one that comes to mind is a 1999 birther, so he's 16, Gannon Erickson. He's leading our team in points right now. He's a big, tall winger. He's kind of jumped out of the gate a little bit here and kind of surprised us a lot. Other than that, he's been the only really young guy that's surprised me. I mean, all of our veteran guys know how to score, too. So we haven't had a shortage of scoring, that's for sure. But, everyone's still trying to get used to the new guys coming in, like I said. A lot of guys coming in from Canada got cut from those high leagues up there that are, free-to-play leagues like the OHL and the QMJHL. So everyone's trying to get acclimated with those guys that we got. So.
Wow, that's sort of cool. So there could be some changes the next couple of weeks, maybe even dramatic changes if you get a lot of new people, huh?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, right now, we got 2 in from the OHL that got touched. One played with Connor McDavid in training camp. Believe it or not.
Wow.
So he was a huge addition, and we have 4 from high-level teams up there, so it's definitely going to bring in a change of pace per se. But overall, the adding of players never really stops throughout the season, so we're going to have to adjust accordingly.
Wow. So now, how about you on the bench? Are you staying cool and calm, or no stick throwing?
Not so much. I haven't thrown a stick yet, but it's tough early on. Especially with the young in this league, they're trying to get, but at the same time, we're trying to help them out and take it easy on them. But I've had a couple of games there where I've had to kind of yell at the young ref, say, listen, you gotta call it both ways, or don't call it at all. I've been cooling down as the games have gone on. We'll just say that.
Now, tell us the secret. Does it really help when you yell at the refs? Not for, obviously they're not going to change their call, but in your opinion, or does it depend on the ref if you're yelling to make a point for the next call?
Yeah, I think it depends on the official.
Yeah.
So, the young guys we have, if I tell them, hey, I know you missed this one, but just make sure you get it next time. Then they kind of find the good in that. But I mean, if it's someone that's an older veteran guy and you're going to try and yell at him, it's not going to do any good because he knows he made the right call. So it's kind of a giver. It's a 50-50 on if you have an experienced guy or a young new guy.
So do you think coaches have certain notebooks on each ref, know who they can push and not?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Luke and I have kind of started to do that right now since the season started. We've kind of picked out, the guys that we kind of get along with and that get along with us, and there's other guys that just kind of don't agree with our style of play and things like that. So we've definitely been keeping notes on the guys that we like for the home series, and we'll keep an eye on it as the season goes on. Definitely.
Wow. So tell us, you're at home tonight. You played last night, right?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we played last night, too. Last night, we lost last night. It was a rough outing. I lost 2 guys in the first period to concussions, so I got 2 guys injured right now. So we play again tonight. I think it'll be a better game tonight. It was a really physical game last night, a lot of back and forth, power play, penalty kill. I'm hoping tonight will be a better game. But, yeah, we're back at home tonight at 7 p.m.
Wow, and then do you play Sunday as well?
We play Sunday as well. Sunday's a noon start time, too.
Wow, your weekends are just incredibly full. There's no doubt.
Yeah.
Now for the old-time hockey players, or fans, I should say, what's the story with altercations? Have you seen many thus far?
Yeah, we've had quite a few fights already, and we had one last night, too, so We've had quite a few so far to start out the season. I'd say about probably 3 or 4 already.
Oh, wow. And anyone on your team may be the next enforcer in the NHL?
Not yet. No. A lot of the guys that have fought for me have been my young 16 or 17-year-old guys, so they still have a long way to go. But I don't have anyone as of yet. I'm hoping to get someone, though, from Canada hopefully soon here. So.
Oh, so you don't have a designated enforcer type then?
No, not right now. No, I mean, all the guys we have right now are, pretty much the skill-based players, the passers, the scorers. So, but they can also fight as well. But do I want them to fight? Not so much. I'd rather have them score goals. So.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense. And, and
the game's changed so much. I mean, you don't really see, an enforcer per se, but you want that team toughness, and it sounds like it's there.
Yeah, and I got a couple of big guys, 6'4", 6'5", 215 from Canada. So I mean, they can definitely throw it around, but then again, that's not their job per se. But one of them did in the instance that he had to, and he did a good job at it. So only if need be. I don't look for them to fight all the time. Only if need be.
Now, how does the crowd react to that?
Oh, they love it. They're getting them entertained, but again, I think we're seeing it kind of disappear from all aspects of the game. In my mind, at least.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for the first coaches fight where everyone's on bench clearing brawl and the two coaches. I think that's almost happened before. I don't know if it's. I think people like. I think these coaches, especially in NHL, they're hoping someone will hold them back, and then they go aggressive.
Right.
But
Yeah,
they're being held back, so their bark is a little bigger than their bite, perhaps. But yeah, the game has changed, so you don't see it often. But everyone wants to show they have heart. They want to show they have toughness. They want to show they can contribute in a lot of different ways. And so I guess coming up through the junior ranks, you may see a little bit more of that.
Yeah,
I was at
exactly. I agree.
Yeah, I think so. I was at the ASU game against Air Force last night at Gila River, and it was just a good, solid game. No fights, but I think in college it's different. I think Andy or Greg,
yeah, the rules are different in college, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, is it you can't fight or you have to throw off your helmet?
I don't think you can fight at all. I think if you fight, I think it's a suspension. I believe, at least in my recognition, I think it is.
Yeah, I think that's correct.
I think you're right. Yeah, so yeah, we didn't see too much action there. Some pretty good hard hits. So, are you following ASU at all?
No, I haven't had a chance to start following them yet. If I'm not at the rink watching, coaching our games, I'm watching my brother's games on the fasthockey.com. So I'm trying to catch his games as much as I can if I'm not at the rink. So. Yeah, you're pretty busy. No question about it. So, and you have about 60 in the 60 game range, right? Yeah, correct. Yeah, I mean, right now we're in the mid to low 50s right now. Being we've already played 6 games, but still a lot of hockey left. I mean, we play straight through until December 2nd. So we play every weekend up until December 2nd. So we're pretty busy on the schedule. So
yeah, that is hugely busy. And now you've had a road trip. The Flagstaff. Any other road trips so far?
No, not of yet. After this weekend at home, next weekend we go out to Ontario, California. That will be our first road trip of the regular season. So that's coming up here in just a little bit here. So.
Well, that's not bad. You could probably stop off and watch the AHL team for the Kings play.
I'd love to. I would love to do that if we get some time.
Yeah, so that might be good. I know Luke, your assistant coach, would really definitely do that. But I guess it's just a matter of timing. And because you pretty much, when you go on a road trip, right, you get there when the game's over, you're back on a bus and headed back?
Yes, I mean, typical road trip, we'll leave a day early, so we'll get there a day early. But yeah, I mean, after the Friday game, we'll go right back to the hotel and go to bed. Then Saturday have most of the day to rest and do whatever, then play the game, back to the hotel, and then Sunday early game, head back home. So I mean, it's a pretty concrete schedule on the road. So not as much freedom as at home.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But still at home, maybe you should take us through the life of a young junior hockey player. You still have certain curfews that you have during the week?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, our weekly schedule is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and we skate early in the morning, and then we go off ice midday, come back and skate in the afternoon, and then the boys go home, and most of them are still in high school, so they do homework, and I mean they're in their house by 10 p.m. That's our set curfew, so they're in there by 10 p.m. and I mean they usually don't leave the rink until after 5 p.m. We'll watch some film and things like that. So I mean it's a full-time job for them, on top of having school to do or a job to do as well.
Now, are you able to, when you said full-time job, do you look at it, I mean, when you see your players, do they look at it as a job or is their major dream that all in?
The group of guys that we have right now, and I think of all of hockey, I think they have to look at it as a job because, new guys will come in throughout the year, and if you're not up to your potential, if you're not playing good, or you have an off week, there'll be someone else behind you to take your spot. So I mean, I definitely think that it's a job just like the NHL or the AHL or college, and you're battling for a spot every day of the week, more or less. So I definitely think the mindset for them is definitely a full-time job, because if you take a day off, then you may find yourself in the bleachers watching the game. So.
Because you hear so many people that have jobs and, it's sort of mundane. They're not living their dream. They go, it's just a job, But I think I understand what you're saying. You got to look at it as a job, but their attitude probably is, well, hopefully just off the charts. I mean, this is probably a dream to progress the next step to the highest and highest level. And so I would think there's some built-in motivation on their part. It would seem to me. Is that what you notice as a coach?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, you have to have that built-in, motivation, or just built-in passion, to be at this level and want to succeed. I've already seen it this year where, we've let 4 or 5 guys, go from the roster just because they didn't have that determination or drive that a kid should have, playing junior hockey, because it is a privilege. It's not a right. It's a privilege to play junior hockey, and you got to look at it that way. But yeah, you definitely have to have that extra drive and passion for it, definitely.
Now, so the big question is, how about as a coach? Do you look at it? I'm sure you look at it as a job as well. But being a head coach has got to be pretty passionate for you.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's for a coach, I think it's a little different. For us, for Luke and I, it's a lifestyle. It puts the food on the table for my wife, my kids. For him and for Luke, it just puts the food on the table for himself. But we always.
Are you promoting him to the single ladies out there?
Kind of. Don't let him know I am, but kind of, yeah. So.
Hey, that's good. This is a good place.
We gotta always be able to get better every day, because again, there's someone else knocking on the door that wants my job every day or wants Luke's job. So even though a full-time job, but you have to have the passion, and not every player can be a good coach. That's what my dad always told me. Just because you're a player doesn't mean you can coach. You gotta have that on-off switch, like Luke and I do at such a young age, to switch off the playing mentality and switch on the coaching mentality. So that's definitely a big part of it there.
Well, that does make sense. How often do you communicate with the general manager? Is that part of your routine, or just It's daily. Sometimes during the week it's daily. On the weekends, game weekends, it's probably Friday before the series, and then Sunday after everything's over. So it's definitely a big part of the communication. They got to be in the loop too, because they handle the financial side and everything. But definitely a daily routine for sure. Yeah, which is probably important to be able to communicate and with not just the kids, but your other coaches, the GM, and so it's quite any surprises for you as head coach? Anything that you say, wow, I really didn't expect this, and I love it, or the opposite?
Right now I would kind of say probably not stress in a bad way, but just more or less, the time you put in. It's really a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week job. It really never ends. So even when I leave the rink and go home, I'm still getting calls from players and things like that. So that's the change from being an assistant to a head coach. Is you're always in contact with people, and the job never really ends, even though the day ends. So that's probably the biggest wake-up call to me since the season started.
Yeah, so it's it's definitely a little different than most jobs. Especially the travel aspect of it, but that's typically just on the weekend. So I guess not so bad then.
No, not at all. No, it's nice too, because we only go to California, so at the very most it's 10 hours away. It's not a brutal travel schedule, so it's nice.
Yeah, that is excellent. So the life of a coach, we just went through the life of Andy Tufto. Well, not the complete life, but a partial life. So
probably 90% of it.
Yeah. Well, you still have the great attitude, and that's really going to be important, of course, especially in the beginning as the team sort of, gets to know each other, gels, and then you can enjoy the wins. But the chemistry, how's the chemistry on this team?
Yeah, the chemistry is great. I mean, it helped that we had so much time, before the season started to get everyone acclimated. But I mean, it changes every day. Like I said, we bring in these new guys in, and these new, these guys are highly skilled players that are coming in. So it does take a little time to get them into the lines and get some chemistry. But it'll come. It'll take a couple days to get the new guys in. But overall, I mean, the chemistry's been kind of exactly what Luke and I drew up. Being that we gave ourselves 4 weeks before the season to have everyone here to kind of get going. So I like it so far. I think Luke would say the same too.
Wow. Well, that's sort of fun. Sounds like a challenging, fun type of job, no doubt about it, and rewarding at the same time to see some of the young kids step up and come closer to their career, or at least improving in a way that they never thought they could. So I think that's probably the joy, one of the joys of a coach.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, that's what we're here for. We're here to make them better and see them grow. And I mean, I'm seeing it already out of some of the young guys, and we'll continue to grow them and everyone else at the same time.
Well, I think that's really, really cool. So anyway, good luck tonight and tomorrow. I'm sure the fans are going to love it, and as you progress onward in the season, definitely I'll be showing up, and those road trips are coming up. Just let me know when that is, and my favorite road trip. So
I got it circled. I know when that one is coming up.
And
coming up soon.
It's called Las Vegas. Yeah, that's coming up.
It.
Huh? Excellent.
It is. Yeah, about 3 weeks. So.
Oh, wow, that is close. That's really coming up. So, Andy Tufto, thank you so much, head coach for the Arizona Hawks. Get out there tonight. What time, 7 p.m.?
Yeah, 7 p.m. puck drop tonight.
And that's at AZ Ice Peoria. Great rink, great place. And how are the crowds showing up for you guys?
Yeah, they've been coming in good numbers of late. So we've been doing a lot of good advertising out in the city there. So I think last weekend, our highest one was about 250, 260. So we got a pretty good size. So hoping for a big crowd tonight too. So.
Yeah, I think that's really good actually. So very cool. So, all right, Andy, we'll be talking to you soon, and you have a great game tonight as well as tomorrow.
Thank you, Dave. Hey, thanks for having me on, guys.
Oh, you're welcome. We'll see you. All right, so Andy Tufto. And sounds like, well, I guess it's expected. A brand new team, you may not have a bunch of wins. He has one out of 4 games or 5 games, I guess. So what would you say? You're probably looking at it. You've been a coach. How well and how much they're improving is where your focus is probably going to be.
Yeah, no, that's really it. I mean, that's the key. I mean, just keep improving throughout the season, and you want to get off to a great start. Don't get me wrong. It's not like, let's lose at the beginning and then start winning. But the key is really doing that. You build the chemistry. It takes a little time, but as it starts continuing to build up, good things will happen, and that will translate to wins. And it will happen pretty soon. It just, again, sometimes takes some time.
Yeah, so I think that's going to be exciting. It's a growth stage maybe for Andy, too, to learn, various things in different situations and to become his best, reach his potential as well, which is good. So tonight, of course, the Flyers come in.
Yeah.
Coyotes, after beating the Kings, what was it, 4-2? Yeah. So they seem like a team that definitely is like different than last year, where they lost the first quite a bit in the first 20 games they had quite a losing record, but then they came back 35 and 14 and something. Yeah, last year they made a dramatic comeback.
Yeah, I know you've seen that actually. Seems like the last couple of years or at times during that, but it's a quick team. I mean, they've done a pretty good job. Ron Hextall over there, he's changed things up a bit in the sense of, you think of the Broad Street Bully days, and for a long time, I mean, the Flyers, even going through different coaches and cores, they've always been known as a big team that, physical team. Not to say they're not physical now, but transitional-wise, some of these young defensemen they have, and, they can move the puck up quickly and not only get down with speed, but just quickly transition in the middle of the ice to get point-blank chances. And in their game last night, I don't think they got their first shot until about 5-6 minutes left in the first period. But then they made adjustments, and in the second period they scored 4 goals. And really they had more point-blank chances than that, 21 total shots in the second. But you could have 6 or 7 goals if it wasn't for Jeff Zakoff, the Kings goaltender. It just showed, the Flyers just at will were getting it right down the middle, and former Coyote, and, he was a favorite here. Boyd Gordon, known more for his penalty-killing ability defensively, very sound center iceman in that regard. Had a very nice goal to get the Flyers on the board. The first goal of the game, I believe it was. Down the middle, a terrific shot that beat Zakoff glove side. But so kind of interesting. Nice little start for him, his Flyers career there. But, yeah, Ron Hextall's done a good job sort of adjusting with how the league is. Some of the success we've seen in the last couple years, that speed, skill, quickness game sort of coming back in. You've seen these big teams like in LA, teams like that have had success. Not saying you got to change, but there comes that time you may have to adjust a bit more. And the Flyers are a team that I think's done well at that. And it'll be a fun game tonight. I think when you look at that and with the young Coyote players, some of these guys making their debut, some of the skill that the Coyotes now have, and maybe we see a back and forth type of game. That would be fun for the fans. Not for the coaches, but for the fans.
Yeah, and that's sort of cool. And we are about to take a break, and this is Real Hockey Talk, but we're live at Tailgaters in Peoria, and that's 10146 West Lake Pleasant Parkway in Peoria. Come on down, have some fun, have some food, listen to sports on NBC Sports Radio AM 1060 KDUS, and we'll be right back.
NBC Sports Radio AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix.
And welcome back to Real Hockey Talk here.
That was
NBC
stereo
Sports
almost.
Radio, yeah, AM 1060, broadcasting from Tailgaters Sports Bar and Grill and El Primo Pizza and Wings, 10146 West Lake Pleasant Parkway here in Peoria, in the Walmart parking lot, basically. So a lot of great stuff going on down here, but terrific food, especially I love the pizza. Even though I failed in the challenge, our team gave it a good shot, but didn't make it. But it's so delicious, that pizza. You just want to enjoy it. You don't want to speed eat it.
Well, unless you're in that contest.
Yeah, but even with that, the enjoyableness of that first slice, it was phenomenal.
But you'll get a free large pizza every once a month. And you'll get on
true.
the Hall of Fame because hardly
man.
anyone can do that. But
yeah, I know. There's only like 4 teams down there or something out of many, many years. But joining us right now, we'll have Dave Isaac Part 2. As this might be a first for our producer crew. I don't think she was here last time Dave Isaac called in. So we have Dave Isaac here at Tailgaters, and then Dave Isaac from Philly, and I believe still the Courier Post, right, Dave?
That's correct, yep.
Okay, perfect. And good to talk to you. It's been a while, and obviously exciting, and I know busy time for you with hockey season back on and traveling there with the Flyers. And I want to talk a little bit about the Flyers. I mean, how Ron Hextall, has really, it seemed like transitioned the team in a different way. It seems like good speed and skill there, maybe not quite the size that we're used to, but maybe talk a little bit about that and some of these young players, with the Flyers this year that maybe some Coyote fans should keep an eye out for.
Yeah, I think it takes a little time to have that, kind of rebirth on a roster because the Flyers, like you said, it's a different way of thinking. You're used to the Broad Street Bullies. You're used to them being a big team, a bruising team that's going to hit hard. Last night the Flyers played the LA Kings, and it's just a whole different mentality for them. A lot of youth, a lot of smaller players, and you wonder, because they're so small, they better be quick and elude some of those big-time hits. So it's a little bit of a different look for the Flyers, and leading that charge there are a pair of 19-year-olds that made the roster at training camp. Defenseman Ivan Provorov will wear number 9 tonight, and number 11 up front, left winger Travis Konechny, who lit it up in the Ontario Hockey League last year. Those are guys that made an immediate impact. Flyers won 4-2 last night in Los Angeles, beating the Kings, and both of those guys had a lot to do with that.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. And, Provorov especially, you really notice him out there, and in a good way for a defenseman. With stay-at-home defensemen, per se, they say, it's good when you don't notice them because that means they're playing their game. But a guy like Provorov seems like he does everything so well, not just from defensive standpoint, but obviously offensively and the way he can move the puck up. And I know this is speaking way in advance, but how many years before he's a legit Norris Trophy candidate? Because he already just looks fantastic. Just one game, but and you could talk maybe more about this, elaborate more, but it seemed like, I know in the Kings broadcast, Bob Miller and Jim Fox, announcers, had said, many in the Flyers organization thought he was their best defenseman in the preseason, including, the veterans and stuff like that. So maybe elaborate a little on that with Provorov.
Yeah, I think he was the best defenseman in exhibition play, and I don't know about Norris Trophy, but it won't take long before he's the Flyers' number 1 defenseman, I'll tell you that. And that's also with having Shane Gostisbehere back there on the blue line, a guy who was a finalist for the Calder Trophy last year. But Gostisbehere, the flash with him, the offensive game with him. Provorov's got it all. That was kind of evidence last night in his first NHL game. It took him a little while to get his legs under him, like it does most players, whether they're rookies or veterans. He seemed to pick it up pretty quickly, and by the second period there, things were running just as efficiently as it looked like he wanted them to. He's just such an effortless skater. I think that's probably the best aspect to his game. And then when you add in how comfortable he is with the puck on his stick, the Flyers are really, really happy with everything that they've gotten him. And I think one of the things that became pretty prevalent last night was he was on a defense pair with veteran Mark Streit, 38 years old, a guy who's also got a little bit of offensive flair to his game. By the second period, Streit was comfortable enough, leaving Provorov back there by himself, and Streit was beneath the Kings goal line, and he ends up getting a goal that way because Provorov intentionally shot it off the backboards where Streit could get it, and he pops it into the net there. So the chemistry was working right off the bat, and obviously the trust that the Flyers have in this youngster was there night one.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. He just looks so confident out there, and amazing to see from any 19-year-old, but especially, from a defenseman. Because, usually goaltenders, defensemen, a lot of times maybe it takes a little longer to develop or maybe a little more time in juniors, minors, wherever they come from. But to step in like that, and, it just been drafted 2015. And then with the Coyotes tonight, we'll see Jacob Chychrun, who was just drafted this past draft. So it's pretty exciting, to see some of these young defensemen in there. Now, yeah, that second period, I mean, they were just entering the Kings zone at will and getting point-blank opportunities. And how about that? Boyd Gordon, first game as a Flyer, the defensive center iceman, will score very few goals per se, not his role, but talk a little bit about his addition and then, of course, a big goal that he scored to open the scoring.
Yeah, that was a prop bet that probably paid really well. Boyd Gordon was signed to be the Flyers' fourth-line center. An understandable signing because they wanted some help in the face-off circle. They wanted to relieve some pressure off Claude Giroux in terms of the big draws that he would take. But it's a little bit surprising because the Flyers had Pierre-Edouard Bellemare, who played pretty well for them last year and the year before, and played very well in the World Cup for Team Europe, especially in that final series there against Canada. I think it kind of, I guess, created a little bit of a competition, although the Flyers didn't seem to see it that way. At one point, they were saying, well, whenever Bellemare comes back from the World Cup, we'll try him out on the wing. Well, by the time he was done with the World Cup, the Flyers wanted to keep him in center, and now Bellemare is the third-line center. So that'll be an interesting thing to kind of watch going forward here. Again, only for one game, the second game for the Flyers tonight against the Coyotes. But that kind of dynamic there, because Boyd Gordon is not expected to bring the offense that he did last night, opening up the scoring in the Flyers' first game of the season. He is, like you said, kind of that defensive-minded role, one of the best face-off centermen in the league in the past couple of years, and I think that's why the Flyers brought him in. But I don't think they're expecting that kind of offense from him, for sure.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. And, I mean, he was a fan favorite here there for a while. And but, yeah, definitely, I mean, what he could provide on the penalty kill and, like you said, face-offs and all the good defensive stuff is huge. And it's a little extra bonus there in Game 1, and probably felt good with that. And, of course, speaking with Dave Isaac with the Courier-Post, of course, covers the Philadelphia Flyers here in town for the game and with the team last night in L.A. And, Dave, looking at some of the other things, going around with the Flyers, Sean Couturier, who, 2 goals last night to start the year. How huge is that going to be for him? Maybe more of an offensive role this year, perhaps? I mean, he's always had the skill, and he's done well, but, it seems like very good defensively, but maybe this is a year where he kind of maybe could get to that 25-goal mark, per se?
Yeah, something like that. The Phoenix-born Sean Couturier.
Yeah.
He's always been kind of a third-line center. Last year, they forced him into a second-line role. They tried to get him into more offensive situations, but they didn't always have line mates that were able to make plays or shoot pucks with really good efficiency. And Sean Couturier was playing with that rookie, Travis Konechny. Konechny sent him up twice last night, and Jake Voracek is on his right wing. So he's got a whole lot of talent on both wings. And if that line stays together, then that could be the Flyers' most offensively potent line. The top line has Claude Giroux. Braden Shen is serving a 3-game suspension, the second of 3 games tonight, and Wayne Simmons on the right wing. But if that Couturier line with Konechny and Voracek stays together, they could be putting a whole lot of pucks in net for the Flyers. And usually that line will end up getting the opponent's top line, because the Flyers have seen Couturier as being that shutdown centerman in the past. He was used that way in the World Cup with Team North America, similar way where he was a defensive shutdown guy, penalty-killing guy. But I think everybody's kind of waited for Sean Couturier to bring the offense, and he did a little bit last year. But I think the Flyers have seen that if you put him with really talented wingers, you can get a little bit more out of him as well.
Oh, yeah, no, and that's great. And the confidence level should keep picking up, obviously, with that. And, yeah, like you said, when Shen comes back after serving the suspension, I mean, it's a nice top line, with Giroux and Simmons. And you got a good element there because you have the speed, skill, offensive ability, and then especially with Simmons, that kind of the power forward. And, looking at, with Konechny, as you were talking about him, I didn't see him play too much in juniors and looked good last night. Some stuff I had heard about him, though, in addition to his great offensive ability, he's not afraid to, get into the dirty areas, and he can grind. Is that an accurate kind of a fact about him, that, he's sort of that guy that could do a little everything offensively? I know some people in the past had said, even though he's playing wing, but maybe sort of like how Mike Richards was when he was in his prime a little bit. Does he have any that part of that game in him, or how would you say his style is?
He definitely has not an agitator role to him, I wouldn't say that, but he's got he does like the physical play, and I think for the Flyers that may be a little bit concerning considering he's a 19-year-old coming into the league for the first time, not the biggest guy in the world, 5'9", well under 200 pounds. The men that play in the NHL are much bigger than the guys who are playing in the Ontario Hockey League, so if he starts getting under people's skin and they start throwing their full body weight around, that's going to be a lot of impact for him to take. So he likes to engage in that physical play, but it's something where when the Flyers are trying to weigh, can this kid endure a full 82-game season? They were thinking of it from a fatigue standpoint, but they also kind of had to think about it from that physical play standpoint as well, because that is something that he likes to engage in. And because it's so much part of his game, I don't think it's something that he's going to tone down. So the Flyers are just kind of hoping that he stays smart out there and uses the speed to avoid the big hits that are coming at him and the hits that he wants to throw. He certainly looks capable of doing that. He didn't look too shy last night against a really big LA Kings team.
Yeah, and Dave, it certainly appears that the Flyers are starting where they ended up last year. I mean, last year they only won like 6 of their first 20 games, and then they went 35-18-9 the rest of the way. I think it was the 7th best team in the NHL over the final 3 quarters of the season. They didn't have a lot of losses. Losses meaning personnel. Ryan White, I guess, left, Sam Gagne, and Umberger. So you got the sort of the basic team back with some great additions. How far can this team go, you think?
Yeah, it's kind of tough to gauge. First of all, because it was just the one game, but also you throw in the mix. This is Dave Haxtell's second year behind the bench, and you got to figure that some of their slow start last year was attributed to the team trying to pick up a new system, the coach trying to learn the players, and vice versa. The Flyers have really not been a very good starting team for the past several years. The past 3 years, they've had really poor starts. And last night was the first time in the last 5 years that they've won their season opener. So, yeah, they looked pretty comfortable last night against the Kings team that is pretty good. Obviously, a whole lot better if they had Jonathan Quick in net, but a pretty good Kings team, I think. I think that the Flyers can continue down this road. Arizona's going to be a big test for them. When I did my season predictions, I had the Coyotes sneaking in there in the wild card. I think they're a really talented team, a lot of youth, a lot of speed. It'll be interesting to see what happens with them this year, but I think tonight aside, the Flyers should be able to kind of, I don't know about pick up where they left off in terms of that rapid-fire ending that they had just to get to the postseason. That took a lot out of them. They ended up losing in 6 games to the Washington Capitals in the first round, but I think that they can at least have some of that momentum that they had last year because things seem to have been going well for them certainly last night, and in the preseason things seem to be going well for them also.
Oh, yeah, and, Dave, before we let you go here, as you said with the Coyotes, the young guys they have and speed and skill, with it be their, first game, home opener tonight, and then the Flyers, as we saw, especially in the second period yesterday, how they were able, their transition game. Do you feel it's possible we could maybe see a back-and-forth type of game where it may be a bit on the high-scoring route, or you think possibly, the more of a defensive-minded type of affair? Because it just seems like with the speed and skill going out there tonight, and especially Coyotes, the young guys, do you think it's a possibility we see a 5-4 type of game, or are you thinking, okay, maybe we'll see kind of that offensive style, maybe some of the young guys with the Coyotes maybe, let's say, I don't want to say the word nervous, but maybe play a little more conservative per se. How do you see that shaking out?
Yeah, maybe by the time the second period rolls around, you do start to see that. I think the Flyers showed last night in the first period they were a little apprehensive, I guess. I don't know if sluggish would be the right word, but they were trying to find their legs. I think whether you're a rookie or a veteran, that kind of happens on opening night, and that's what the Coyotes will be going through tonight. But if Dave Tippett kind of lets those young guys run wild, then, yeah, you might be able to see a game like that because the Flyers are without Michael Del Zotto, without Radko Gudas. They've got some guys on the blue line there that aren't exactly known for solid defensive play. Mark Streit, Andrew McDonald, not exactly stay-at-home defensemen. So if you can get the puck behind them and get to it then yeah, you are going to have clean shots with Steve Mason, who will be in net for the Flyers tonight. You might end up seeing an offensive game like that. I think the Flyers are going to try and certainly keep rolling the same way that they were last night in the second period with that run and gun offense. And yeah, it might end up being a track meet tonight.
Yeah, it's interesting. That's never been Dave Tippett's style to, run and gun. It's sort of the pack mentality. Right. They've said it over the years. And but I wonder, and I haven't heard, and maybe you've heard, you think Tippett might change his style a bit because of all the youngsters they have? I mean, they have a lot. Let's see. They have 8 forwards under 24 or younger.
And we won't see Strome tonight, unfortunately.
Yeah,
he's a healthy scratch, and they're saying that Strome and Christian Dvorak maybe will, alternate a little bit, throughout the season, at least the beginning.
And they think Dvorak is a little bbit further along in his development.
Oh, yeah, well, his skill.
Incredible. Well, we saw him at the rookie deal, and he's incredible, that guy.
I don't know if Tippett changing style per se, but definitely I would think, and Dave, maybe your thoughts on it, but maybe adjusting a little bit because now is personnel different than it's been in the past?
Yeah, I think that coaches do kind of have to learn to do that, and I know that Dave Tippett's been very established in the league for a long time, but when you do have so much of a change in your personnel and it is for a specific skill set, I think you have to kind of bend that way a little bit and kind of allow that in the play. It might not be what he's used to. It may not be what he really wants, but I think he's got to let that leash go at least a little bit and let some of those young guys, maybe it is mistakes that they end up making, but you kind of live with them if it comes with the offensive production that is certainly advertised to these guys. We'll see if that's actually the case at this level, but I think you kind of have to let them go wild at least a little bit and see what they've got.
And if you think about it, I mean, hockey obviously is hockey, but it is a business. And I think, getting people in the stands, I don't know how much of an influence that would be, but, they do have some great talent in these youngsters to show off a bit. But, I don't know if that's going to be a big enough influence from a marketing standpoint. What do you think, Dave?
Well, I mean, it was in Philadelphia, a pretty big market. I mean, last year there wasn't a whole lot going right at the start of the year, and then all of a sudden Shane Gostisbehere gets called up in early November, and the marketing team for the Flyers just ran with him for the rest of the year. Number 53 is not really a traditional number, but they sold so many jerseys, I think they may have asked him to keep the number this year just because of how much of an impact that he made for the Flyers business development team, from November through the rest of the season. And that's a big market team doing that. I think that kind of shows that it can happen anywhere. The Flyers were thrilled. I mean, Ron Hextall is always preaching patience with young players and things of that nature, but the marketing team was certainly thrilled with what Shane Gostisbehere did last year.
Yeah, and I just love to see the closed-door meetings on that in the Coyotes, any Coyote meetings to see how much of an influence that is. Because they were, I think, 29th in attendance last year. Not that great, and they certainly have to up it. And they have, that possibility, I suspect, with some of the youngsters.
Well, I think, when you look at it for the fans, especially the hardcore ones, but the casual fans getting out there and becoming hardcore ones, they can associate really and say, wow, homegrown talent, you get to become not only fans, Coyotes, the name per se, on the front of the jersey, but also the names on the back, knowing now that, hey, we've seen Domi, Duclair have their great debuts, and already huge-time fan favorites, and now with the Dvorak and some of these other guys coming in. So, yeah, I do think it will be a good thing and add some excitement, whether they have a successful year or not. And Dave, as you mentioned, maybe having them sneak into a wild card spot. And I don't know whether I have them in the playoffs yet or not. I definitely agree that they're going to be much better, I think, than they've been. And, wow, they're going to be exciting. And I think the fans will really appreciate that and the adjustments and what Chaika's been able to do, young general manager, unbelievable at 27. A fantastic offseason.
But his fate, we'll see how this year goes. You know, I mean, he looks impressive now, but we'll see.
No, it was great what he's done.
Yeah.
Regardless, even if the team does struggle on ice this year, I think his asset value-wise, you know, how he was able to handle the assets, I think is very good.
So that should be interesting. So, wow, it's going to be a pretty good game. I mean, back-to-back is always a little tough, of course, beginning of the season, so everyone's excited. Maybe the travel back-to-back won't be as significant as it might be later in the season. But one last comment from you, Dave. What I understand is Tippett likes to divide his roster into 3 groups. And so the veteran group provides leadership, stability, and consistency. And with Shane Doan and Smith and so on, they have pretty good leadership there. The young group, the new ones, youngsters, provides energy and enthusiasm and some production. But Tippett relies on what he calls the middle group, is he believes most responsible for determining success or failure. And that group should include Hansel, Larson, and he wants players like Domi, DeClaire, Martinook, Murphy, Reeder to join that group. You think that's enough talent? You know, if what Dave Tippett says is true, to have a lot of success with that middle group there?
Yeah, I mean, I think Domi and Duclair just had really good years last year, and I think they're clearly trending upward. I think Connor Murphy, who's the son of Flyers defensive coach Gord Murphy, he's another player that kind of came on my radar certainly last year and seems to be trending in the right direction as well. That's how it works in this league. Once you find prospects, you try and get them on a certain track, and if they can keep on that track, then you're in pretty good shape. And it looks like with where these guys were for the Coyotes last year, if they can take the next step this year, that's going to mean really good things for them.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. I didn't really pick them for the playoffs, but we'll see which Dave Isaac gets the pick. And for those that don't know, we're related somehow.
Yeah, some way, somehow.
Third cousin, twice removed in the fourth
how that
generation of millenniums or something like that. But Dave, it's always a pleasure having you on. You are just such a great hockey guy, so much knowledge. Have fun this season traveling with the Flyers. Really a storybook franchise, no question about that. And enjoy the game tonight.
All right, thanks a lot, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Dave.
You're welcome. All right, so Dave Isaac.
Courier Post, yeah.
Now, you haven't met him in person.
I never have.
I've met him several times at the NHL Trap.
Yeah.
He really does
I'll
well.
meet him at some point.
Yeah, he's really nice. He's our, I don't know. We'll
somehow
have to figure
related.
it out. Well, my dad's cousin was his uncle's son or something like that.
Yeah,
same name.
Like
Isn't
an
that funny?
Oklahomian family.
No, they're from the East Coast.
No, I know.
So it's not like a Missouri.
No, I hear
Missouri,
you. But it'd be interesting. But I think that it's a solid pick that he has there with Coyotes possibly getting in with the wild card spot
possible.
Because you see these young teams when they could come together quickly, they. Maybe you could call it a bit of an overachieve in the sense that, you know, young guys coming right into the league, sometimes it takes a little more time. But there's definitely that skill and talent there. And when you mix some of the smarts of the veterans and continued improvement, you never know.
They could run on emotion for a while. Let's see if that fades out or not. Maybe not. And this is Real Hockey Talk live. Tailgaters in Peoria. Come on down, 10146 West Lake Pleasant Parkway in Peoria. Enjoy some food, see our sports show, and watch TV at the same time. We'll be right back.
This is the Rooster. Join me this Sunday as No Huddle, the best NFL show in the Valley, broadcast live from Padre Murphy's on 43rd Ave in Bell. Make sure to stop by for your chance to win great prizes.
And welcome back to Real Hockey Talk, right here on NBC Sports Radio AM 1060, broadcasting from Tailgater Sports Grill and El Primo Pizza and Wings, 10146 West Lake Pleasant Parkway here in Peoria. And expected to have joining us shortly is Curtis Pashelka, covers the San Jose Sharks, and we'll talk a little Sharks as well as, kind of continue a bit of our Pacific Division preview from last week. So he should be calling us very shortly, and we could get him on, talk about that as well as, the Sharks got off to a nice start thus far, and so it'll be interesting to see how they do this season. I think a lot of is expected from them, and I think a lot of them too. I think they'll be in for another fantastic year, and we'll see come playoff time, if they can get back to where they were possibly. Very tough, but, throughout a season you see ups and downs with teams out there, and a couple teams known as, I don't know, maybe you could say heavyweights in terms of had a lot of success over the last number of years. L.A. and Chicago, well, both off the kind of tough start, 0-2, but again, 2 games in, things change quickly, and I think both teams will see some of their bigger time players maybe get on their games and kind of lead the rest of the way, but, it'll be interesting to see. Again, you don't want to fall into a big sort of hole early on. That could be a tough thing, but, for the Coyotes, so exciting, with all the young guys and, what we'll see tonight. And Jacob Chikrin, surprised he made the team in he had a great preseason, great training camp. So not a surprise in that regard, but, sometimes with the young defensemen, especially just drafted, you develop them, slowly. Sometimes there's a proper way, but for every player it's different. So we'll see, if he's up for the whole year, or if it, gets his 9 games in, then perhaps goes back to junior, but, a benefit, you stay in junior, you get that top, type of minutes on the top pairing, lead the way, really dominate, but on the other hand, the NHL level now, with the experience that he'll learn, and, he's already up to par to be an NHL defenseman, and the long-term effect won't hurt him, and they feel that this is the best route, then that could be huge, and so I think definitely some excitement there to see him in action. And, Strome, not expected to be in the lineup tonight, but you'll still see Christian Dvorak's line. Toby Reeder will be on his wing alongside Anthony Duclair. And so that has the makings of a very skilled, speedy line, lots of speed on that line. And so that could be a line that, fans are raving about during the game and after. So, we'll see what happens there with that. But, I think when you kind of look at some, stuff around the league with young guys coming in, we'll talk more later on about Austin Matthews. Obviously, his debut was amazing, the Scottsdale native who spoke with a couple months ago before the draft. So, a lot of fun stuff. Now, our guest, I'll say this over there here, Curtis Pashelka, should be joining us shortly. I guess a little issue with calling in, so, we'll check on the phone lines to maybe make sure that's working. He's trying to get in touch right now. Some reason, though, maybe it's not going through.
Yeah, so why don't we take a break, crew, if you can hear us. Let's go on a break, and then we'll give you Curtis's number to call him. And we'll take a quick break right now, and then I'll give you his number to call Curtis from San Jose. So I'm not sure, maybe some technical difficulties. So, all right. So, but it will be fun. Usually Coyotes sell out, certainly the first game, and I anticipate no less than that. So I think that will be a fun night tonight to see how the youngsters do. And I'm actually more interested in see how Domi does and Declare, see how they start off their second season. I think that should be quite a important feature for their season. And this is Real Hockey Talk, live at Tailgaters at 10146 West Lake Pleasant Parkway in Peoria. Come on down, have some fun, have some food, watch TV. College hockey is on, and we'll be right back after these words.
Are
you ready to go in the press box and in the locker room? Van Rag Sports Radio takes you there. Weekdays from 9 to 11 a.m. Hosted by Chris Schubert. Right here on NBC Sports Radio AM 1060.
And welcome back to Real Hockey Talk right here on NBC Sports Radio AM 1060 and broadcasting today from Tailgaters Sports Grill and El Primo Pizza and Wings, and we'll be getting our pizza shortly. It's great stuff here. So about 15 minutes away, you'll hear me munching in the mic probably. 10146 West Lake Pleasant Parkway here in Peoria, big Walmart parking lot. So a lot of good stuff going on down here. And, of course, joining us now with the area news, we have Curtis Pachelka. And, Curtis, it's been a while. Last time we spoke with you, the Sharks had a nice playoff run in the Stanley Cup final, and they got off to a nice little start this year, too, with a victory over their Pacific Division rival, L.A. And, first and foremost, how was your summer?
Oh, it was really good. Thanks for having me. Yeah, sorry we couldn't connect last week, but it was a great summer. Got into town for most of it, and right back at it mid-September. So yeah, it was a nice break.
Oh, that's some good stuff there, and obviously, for many years it seemed like maybe the Sharks had that issue come playoff time, really breaking through, but a lot of success last year, and obviously in the final, we saw Pittsburgh, a lot of speed. Which is tough to contain in a way. But, look at the offseason for the Sharks. And, one of the major additions, of course, being Mikkel Boedker, who known for his speed. I mean, that guy, a friend of mine used to make a little joke. It might sound a little weird, but he would always go, "Do you see that guy's legs?" When they had the locker room interviews afterwards. And he has that power that's just significant, and it shows in his skating. But, talk a little bit about that. Schlemko also comes in, provides depth on the back end, and your thoughts on how the new additions will fit in this year.
Well, I think they're going to fit in pretty well. I think right now they got Mikkel Boedker up on the second line with Logan Couture and Jonas Donskoy, and three guys, not big guys by any stretch, but players that love to possess the puck, get in behind a team's defense. Really, they look pretty good against the Kings on Wednesday. They haven't had a whole lot of time to sort of gel. Boedker and Couture came back from the World Cup kind of late in training camp, so they practiced a few times together. They played one exhibition game together and then one regular season game on Wednesday. So that line should be pretty good. I mean, I think Pete DeBoer is expecting good things from that line. As far as David Schlemko goes, another guy who likes to move the puck, likes to carry the puck, gives him another added dimension as far as offensive defenseman. They've already got Brett Burns, of course, and Mark-Edouard Vlasic had a nice year offensively, too, last year. So you've got three guys, really, who can score some points for the Sharks from the back end. So I think from the Sharks' perspective, they like what they've got and excited about the season.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, it's just a nice core, and now, the depth that's there, and, like you said, with the guys offensively from the back end that could do it and move the puck up, and it's huge, I mean, for transition games, especially this day of age with the NHL. And, speaking about Burns, you got the game winner in their first game there. And, I know his contract's up after the year, so I'm sure this question goes on quite a bit, and I'm sure they'll do whatever it takes and everything will work out. But is it something where, as far as or what you could say, maybe any negotiations going on throughout the season, or is it one of those things where if nothing was done before the season, they might kind of wait? Maybe your thoughts on that?
Well, they started talking kind of late last year, just some informal discussions about contract and an extension for Burns. It's not a situation where they've completely cut it off during the course of the season. I think both sides are willing to at least chat. I mean, I would be very surprised if Doug Wilson just said, "Okay, well, we'll leave it to June and sort of take it from there." I think he wants to try to get this done. Now, it's got to work for for the Sharks as well. Obviously, Brent Burns is a dynamic defenseman that can do a lot of things that other defensemen simply can't do. But it's got to work for both sides because the Sharks do have other players that they have to re-sign in the near future. Obviously, Vlasic, like I mentioned, he's going to have to need a new contract, a big raise from what he's making right now the following year. And then you've also got guys like Jonas Donskoy, he's going to get a raise, and Martin Jones in a couple of years, he's going to need a raise. So you got to kind of look at the big picture. I think the Sharks they like where they're at right now, but they kind of have to at least be careful or be judicious about what kind of contract they offer Brent Burns.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, like you said, in the salary cap era, all the long-term planning is, absolutely huge. And it's been interesting what Doug Wilson's been able to do. I mean, for a while there, a few years ago, it seemed like, what's going to happen? And then, able to adjust, and just amazing, really, what they were able to do last year. And, and this year, obviously, always high expectations, but you see anything maybe different with the locker room or anything like that in terms of maybe a confidence, a little extra pep in some of the players, especially veteran guys, knowing that, yes, the disappointment, you're so close, didn't win a cup, but you also got out of the Western Conference and, maybe a little extra, maybe confidence you see or jump, with the players around the rink?
Well, I think the biggest thing you can say is that they now know what it takes to get there and what it's going to take to finally take that last step to win the cup. So that's sort of the attitude they have this year. I don't know if it's more confidence or just same as the amount they had last year, but I think they definitely have a realization about how what it's going to take to get there, how they're going to beat the teams in their own division to get to the third round, and then try to match up well with the team they face in the conference finals if they get that far. So the Sharks feel they can match up well with just about anybody they happen to play. So at this stage, I think it's just safe to say that they're pretty confident that they can match up well with other teams, and they know what it takes to get there for sure.
Yeah, and Curtis, thank you so much. Sorry we had some technical difficulties, but we always appreciate having you on there. And good luck to San Jose. I think they're quite a team. I picked them to come in first in the Pacific Division, so we'll see what happens there. And how do people get in touch with you to read some of your stuff?
Well, you can visit the newspaper's website, Mercury News, MERCURY News, NEWS.com/Sarks. Or you can just follow me on Twitter at Curtis Pashelka, CURTISPASHELKA.
Excellent. Curtis, thank you so much. We'll talk to you during the season, and it's exciting. Hockey is again starting, our favorite sport. And you have a great week.
Thanks, David. Appreciate it.
Okay, my pleasure. Okay, so now a special surprise, a guest. Or am I the guest? I think I'm the guest of course, this great place called Tailgater, where we're broadcasting live from. And I'm going to give you the address because you want to come down here, 10146 West Lake Pleasant Parkway in Peoria. Great TVs, great food, great service, and a great GM, Donnie Anderson. How are you, Donnie?
Doing well, Dave. How about yourself?
Oh, great. This is such a great place. I got to tell you, you do such a good job. I just can't tell you. Every time I come here, and I come here a lot, don't I? But the service is phenomenal. That's what I mean, the food is amazing. Everything's amazing, but your service is just really A+.
Thank you. I appreciate that. We've been working on it.
Oh, yeah. It's really good. So tell us a little bit. We've had you on before, but you got happy hour. Run by for our listeners again what you have here at Tailgaters.
Well, we do happy hour Monday through Friday from open until 6 o'clock. And thank you, Heather. And we run different pizza specials, wing specials nightly. Football's a huge draw for us. I'm expecting the place to just pack out here at about 5 o'clock right before the ASU game starts.
Oh, yeah.
So we get a good college following. We've got all the NFL games on. And place is ridiculous on Sundays.
Oh, yeah. And you serve, I think, breakfast on Sundays, do you?
Well, yeah, until daylight savings ends.
Oh.
As soon as the game started at 11,
then
we'll
too late.
discontinue
Yeah.
the breakfast.
Well, that makes sense. That's probably makes sense. But, hey, who needs breakfast when you have all the other great food?
That's right. We got a breakfast pizza, actually.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
That sounds good, actually.
And I do remember you have what's called a 30-inch pizza, 20 to 25 pounds, that this guy could not finish off.
No, I've yet to see anybody actually complete this challenge. There's a couple of people that have made it before I started here, but I haven't seen anybody come close.
Well, next time we're here, I'm trying to get some football players. I won't mention who or where, but some people we cover to come down here and give them the challenge, and we'll make a big event out of it. So we'll see if we
You're
can.
going to go get some big eaters, huh?
Yeah, so we're going for the big boys now, the linemen of.
Or maybe what we
pounds.
could do is have a contest, the football guys versus the hockey guys, and see who could eat more. But,
hey, that's a great idea.
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that,
The
actually.
pizza is delicious, so
It is.
even though we didn't get
Finish.
through, not even close.
Half, I think.
Part of it is, that first slice, you still really enjoy it so much because it is really good. But then when you get to the second
the rest
one,
of your crew enjoyed it after you guys finished.
gave
up on the challenge.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
It was, very, very cool.
I think Ed Smith took that all, and I'll have to ask him how quickly he finished it off.
I did.
I think there was
it
4
lasted
big
several
slices.
days.
Yeah.
Just one slice can last you several days.
Yeah.
There's no doubt. So you have UFC stuff here, I think, right?
I'm sorry?
UFC?
Yes. We do the pay-per-view UFC. It's usually once a month.
That's got to be packed, too.
Yeah, that's it depends on who's on the card.
Well, I guess, that makes sense. And
the last one wasn't super busy, but the time before that we were standing room only.
Oh, man, that is good. That's exciting, especially when there's some of the good UFC fighters performing. And is there anything else that you'd like to say? I mean, just the atmosphere and the layout of this place is really nice because it's really open. You have a patio right over here, right behind you and to my right.
We have been opening up at night, but 95 is still a little bit too warm for us to
soon.
open these doors
up.
But yeah, it's nice when we get the doors wide open.
Oh, yeah, I can imagine. So it's definitely a great place. Now, the bonus here is that you're a hockey fan.
Oh, yeah. I grew up playing hockey, so.
Prediction goalie. No, you told me, so that's all right. So did you ever get hit directly in the mask? Hopefully you wore a mask.
Yeah, sure did.
How does that feel? Describe it to the audience.
Well, it's definitely a ringing sensation
in your ears, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
I remember I wasn't a goalie per se, but when I was, I think, a squirt, like 10 years old, they had it where the team had pads, and then you could rotate through and try out being a goaltender. And there's an older kid helping our coach out, and I was goalie for this practice, and he was like 16, 17 on like the midget team, really good player. And he's like, "Oh, I'm going to hit you in the mask on my next shot." And I thought he was just being sarcastic. It wasn't even that hard, but you still are kind of like. And I remember that.
I got knocked out a couple of times.
Really?
By pucks, yeah.
Oh, you're kidding?
Oh yeah. I woke up one time in the hospital actually.
Man!
Split my helmet right in half. And
can you imagine when the goalies did not wear masks?
Nobody had curves on their sticks though either.
Oh,
yeah, true.
That's a good point.
So the pucks weren't coming quite as fast.
But still, right?
Still, that yeah.
I mean, I can't imagine that, but they did.
I'm sure that they didn't have many of their own teeth.
Oh yeah. And sometimes even their whole head was questionable whether it was theirs or not. Oh no, that's the political scene. Okay, yeah, that's a whole different topic.
Oh
though.
yeah,
pretty interesting in itself. So now you play a lot of NHL games here?
We play some, but
like
we
Coyotes maybe.
Yeah, we don't have a hockey ticket yet. I don't know if we're going to get one or not. I've been pushing for it.
Well, I think that's good. I mean, because you get the Coyotes, though.
Right.
So, and then anything on probably NBC, the regular. When do they play? Right. Usually once a week.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
DirecTV does
Tuesday
have a
and Wednesday, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, on the NHL network.
But I think the regular station too. So you get plenty of, you get plenty of hockey, and then most of the Coyote fans anyway, so they're gonna come here to watch. And but football, it is a king of sports. There's no doubt.
Oh yes, absolutely. It's been fun so far this year.
Yeah. So is it your dream come true to be in business and being a former hockey guy? To combine sports and what you do for a living?
I'm not sure that this is exactly what I was intended when I jumped in the job force 30 some odd years ago. But
wow, you wanted to be like Jonathan Quick or
I'm not exactly sure. I don't think this was exactly what I had in mind, but it's been fun anyway.
It's got to be sort of fun. Meeting.
Oh yeah,
you got a lot of regulars, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You get to meet them and rap with them a bit.
Yeah, that's a big part of my job actually.
Is it?
Just getting out and making sure that talking to the guests and making sure everybody's having a good time.
I think that's good because you're really, I want to say good at it, but that doesn't give you enough credit. I think it's the type of person you are. If someone says, "Oh, you're good at this," versus, hey, it's just part of who you are. It comes natural, and you're beyond good because you make people feel real comfortable, I got to tell you.
Yeah, 35 years in this business, I hope I got it down at this point.
You don't look old enough, really, to have 30. Well, you started at 10 or something.
About 17, but...
Well, pretty young, but the knowledge is, incredible. There's no doubt about it. Yeah, really good place. Anything else you'd like to talk about tailgaters? I mean, I know this is the biggest one.
This is the biggest one. We're just starting construction on our next one. So.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Are you allowed to disclose where that
I'm
is?
not sure if I am yet or not. But,
okay.
It's about 6 months out at least.
Oh, and is it going to be modeled after this one?
Kind of. It's going to be similar to this, but. I think that one's actually going to be a little bigger than this one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I think this is good size, actually. And
there's a little more room in the kitchen in the next one.
Oh, you got a little smaller kitchen. Wow.
So, yeah, there's... So, hopefully, we won't be banging into each other back there in the next one.
Yeah. That probably helps, although I'm never in the kitchen, even in my own house, so I don't know how it works. I do cook spaghetti.
Just keep it that way, Dave.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm going to do is I come here all the time. That's what I do. Who needs a kitchen when you have tailgaters, right?
That's right.
That's what I'm thinking.
I eat here more than I eat at my house. That's
do you? What's your favorite food here?
Oh, God, I just kind of go all over the board. I'm here 5 days a week, so,
little of everything.
Little of everything, yeah.
You have a good wedge salad.
The wedge is good.
I like that, actually.
I like our antipasto salad better.
I get that a lot too, and I think that's very good. And of course, you have baked ziti, I think.
Yeah, baked ziti. We actually do baked subs here too, which
I've had that. It's really quite unique. And
we use our pizza crust and wrap instead of putting it on a hoagie roll, we wrap the innards of the sub in the pizza dough and then bake it. And they're really good. The baked Philly is my favorite.
Oh, okay. I've had the baked. Let's see.
The French dip?
Yeah, French dip.
Yeah, that one's good too.
Man, that is really good stuff. Your tater tots. Right?
You can't go wrong with tater tots.
Man, I could go on and on about that.
Good. I haven't tried them here yet. I have to.
Very good.
Dave's lucky because he lives right down the street from here.
Yeah, I only see him 4 or 5 times a week.
Yeah,
that's all.
I'm here. All different hours, too, right? Sometimes early, sometimes late.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It is. And then I was sitting over there, in fact, doing some work. And, we were talking for a while. Really good place, I think. We're at the 3 o'clock hour already. So, Donnie, thank you very much.
My pleasure, Dave. Always good to have you guys here.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. You have a lot of good people here. So really appreciate you. Appreciate Tailgaters. Come on down. 10146 West Lake Pleasant Parkway in Peoria. You're open till what, 2, I believe?
2 on weekends for sure.
Full menu till 1, I think?
12:30.
12:30. That's phenomenal. That's smoking there. So Anyway, thank you very much, and we're here till 4, but they're open till 2, so come on down anyway, anytime. Have some fun. This is Real Hockey Talk live on NBC Sports Radio, AM 1060 KDUS. Again, we're live from Tailgaters 10146 West Lake Pleasant Parkway. Come on down, have fun in Peoria. We'll be right back.
NBC Sports Radio AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix.
And welcome back again. You're listening to Breakthrough Sports live at Tailgaters in Peoria, and that's 10146 West Lake Pleasant Parkway in Peoria. Great place to have food, great place to broadcast. NBC Sports Radio, AM 1060 KDUS. A lot of TVs, great service. Just spoke to Donnie Anderson, the GM of Tailgaters. A lot of good stuff going on. They're open till 2, so come on down. We're here till 4. But joining us right now is one of our favorites. She's been on many times, Lindsay McCormick. Lindsay, how are you?
I'm great. How are you guys? I always love coming on. It feels like you guys are old friends.
We are, especially me. I'm the oldest of the group. But we did have fun. You've been in studio, various different stations, and you are delightful. So I really appreciate you coming on. And, of course, people that are listeners, any new listeners, of course, you're a sports broadcaster, and you've been you went to hosting events like the Super Bowl, and also I just saw Showtime, the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight. I guess you were involved in as well, right?
I did a lot of the lead-up coverage for them, from the weigh-in to the grand arrivals, leading up to the big day for Showtime. And my friends told me that was my first boxing match to ever cover. And then after that, I covered some other ones for Top Rank. But my friends all told me, Lindsay, it goes downhill after the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight, because it doesn't come in terms of like publicity and just the actual show. I mean, everything that came with that fight. I don't think there will ever be a fight like that ever again. Even though the fight itself wasn't that great,
right?
Everything surrounding the fight was a little insane. That
was highly anticipated. You're right. The expectations were high. I saw that fight when I was in at the Kentucky Derby. Actually, if I remember, it was the same day as the Kentucky Derby, and it was a bit disappointing from the hype, and from the accomplishments of these two great fighters, Mayweather and Pacquiao. But I don't know. There were some reports that Pacquiao had some injuries, maybe. Have you heard? Did you hear anything like that?
Yeah, that's what they were saying. And I remember the Kentucky Derby was the day before the fight, because Tom Brady got on a plane and came to the fight after the Kentucky Derby. And the best decision of all time by his PR people to let them interview him for the broadcast. And he had no voice from, I guess, a crazy weekend at the Kentucky Derby.
Oh, yeah. We were there, covering the Kentucky Derby. And, I guess it might have been the day before, because a lot of these after parties.
His voice was deflated.
Yeah. Greg said, that was good. That was actually funny. Deflated. Yeah, Tom Brady and a deflated voice. But, a lot of the people that usually go to the Kentucky Derby did not. They were in Las Vegas wanting to see this great fight. So, but, is there ever going to be a Mayweather-Pacquiao 2?
I mean, I could see Mayweather coming out of retirement for one more fight. But and there were talks that it was going to be Conor McGregor from the UFC, but they would box. So it was going to be great.
Wow.
But I don't even think that would have been a good fight, because Mayweather would have destroyed him. But you have two highly publicized athletes who are the peak of their sport. So it would have been interesting to see, and it would have garnered a lot of media attention. But I I still think Mayweather will come out of retirement for one more fight. I just don't think it'll be Mayweather-Pacquiao too.
Oh, boy.
It'll have to be something else.
Yeah, that would be, I mean, yeah, everyone wanted to see that for years, and it just never happened. But what can you do? But at least there was 3 Ali Frazier fights we got to enjoy, so that was pretty cool. But you've done a lot of other stuff. Let's see, hosted the Maxim Super Bowl party in San Francisco. That was last year, I believe.
Yeah, that was definitely an interesting thing on my resume. It was very different than anything I had done before. I mean, it was similar in that I got to interview all the athletes because it was Super Bowl weekend in San Francisco.
Oh, yeah.
So I was interviewing some of the same guys I had worked with in the past. But I also worked for SAP, who sponsored the Super Bowl last year. And Marshall Falk and I did all the live stage hosting for the fans, which was so much fun.
Oh, man, that is really cool. You've done so much at such a young age. Well, you look young. I think you actually told me how old you are, but I won't disclose it. But you do look really, really young. But you've also even made a movie, and that's coming out, I believe, in December.
Yeah, so December 9th. It's called The Bounce Back. It's a chick flick, so I don't know if it's up you guys' alley. But it's a really, really good film. It's got Shamar Moore, Bill Bellamy, who's absolutely hysterical, Nadine Velasquez, who is just stunning. She was in Flight with Denzel Washington. And then Jason Kennedy and I play the talk show host. And the main character goes on his book tour. He writes this book called The Bounce Back, trying to help himself get over a relationship, trying to help other people get over relationships, and along the way he runs across some controversy, and he meets a certain someone, and he doesn't agree with a lot of his theories in the book, and it leads to a pretty entertaining movie.
That sounds really cool. And is it going to be in the theaters?
Yeah. So
okay.
It'll be nationwide in theaters on December 9th, and you can already go online and start buying your tickets. The movie times are all listed.
Oh, that should be fun. Definitely, I'm going to take a look at that. So you're a little bit going, well, maybe more than a little bit, going into the acting career, it sounds like, right?
Well, I'm still working Super Bowl again this year, But living in LA, a lot of these opportunities have presented themselves, and it's definitely very different than covering sports. I'll say that, but it's been fun, and I feel really grateful for all these opportunities, and it's hard for me to say no to them, especially nowadays where the line between what is sports and what is entertainment is so blurry. I mean, you've got Odell Beckham Jr. being a character on the sideline, and then in every other commercial. So it is more, people are more accepting of people kind of crossing over and trying entertainment. So why not, you know?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think sports, clearly entertainment. Entertainment is entertainment by definition. But I think that's really exciting. Now, I've asked many entertainers this, actors and mainly actors, actually. We've had some soap opera stars and other very well-known actors. But I'll ask you this question. Have you ever had a kissing scene on the big screen?
No, I haven't. Not yet.
Oh, I like how you said not yet. So have you thought about that? How do you go about that? I mean, do you have an acting coach? Or, I mean, how do you anticipate that coming off on someone you don't know and you're just meeting them and maybe,
I feel like in a career as a sideline reporter and a broadcaster, you kind of always prepare for that after everybody has seen the Susie Colbert incident with Broadway Joe. So you kind of anticipate the fact that at any moment you could be kissed on accident.
Right.
But I don't know how you would prepare for one in terms of like a scene for a movie.
I think it's called practice, practice, practice. And if you really like the person, you'll be practicing quite a bit. So, no, I think it's totally different. I did ask that question to both a female star and a male star in soap operas. And, of course, daily they have those type of Donald Trump moments. And, wait, I shouldn't say it like that. That was critical. But you know what I mean.
Locker room talk. It's locker room talk.
Yeah, it's locker room talk. Yeah, you probably heard. Have you heard locker room talk?
I have. And
Yeah,
let me
so-
tell you, I don't disagree with Donald Trump's statement that was locker room talk. Because I've heard some pretty crazy things in the locker room.
Oh, I'm sure you have. And I think we all have, really. I mean, most of us have heard talk over the years. And, yeah, it sort of sounded to me like locker room talk. And but it's, well, obviously all over the news. But so, yeah, so as you go deeper in acting, I'm sure those things will happen. And I did talk to some of these soap opera stars and a woman and a guy. And the woman was a little bit more, apprehensive a bit. And the guy wasn't. So, but that might be just them. But it is a job, and if you're a professional, that's how it works, I guess. So I may go into acting just for that one reason. I don't know. No, I'm kidding.
You should.
But you got such a many careers ahead of you. What do you like better, though, you think? I mean, do you think the acting is a little bit more enjoyable than broadcasting, or is it just sort of similar, but it gives you a variety, which is sort of fun?
I mean, I got asked this question this weekend, ironically, and they're night and day different. And I feel like that's why I enjoy doing the movies and enjoy acting recently, because it's such a contrast from sports broadcasting. Sports broadcasting, you're studying facts, you're preparing daily for these games, these broadcasts, and then you get out there and you're in the middle of the action. It's chaotic, but yet you're still trying to keep your composure, trying to rattle off stats, trying to grab these guys and interview them. There's so much build-up and excitement going on during your job. And then when it comes to acting, the sets are very quiet. It's more a creative outlet. So they kind of balance each other out because they're so different.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. And they're both... I would think, well, I don't know. I'm sort of guessing that maybe acting might be, depends on the director, but maybe more right-brain creative, broadcasting. Yeah. Well, it probably has elements of that too, but you got to study a lot of stats too.
Oh yeah, the one thing I love about broadcasting though, and just sports in general in these games, is they don't ever go by a script. They're always off the script. You never know what's going to happen. I was watching the Tennessee game last weekend, and it went into double overtime. I mean, you just never know what you're going to get with these games, and that's the beauty of it.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it, where in acting, you know the end. You may want to change it, but you know what it's going to, how it ends. And then when you see the finished product, it probably blows you away how it came together, too, especially the movie you made, right?
Oh, yeah, because I didn't know how it was going to be edited. I didn't know if they were just going to edit me completely out of the movie.
Wow.
I had no idea. I mean, because I've heard stories like that before from friends that are in the industry where they showed up, filmed all their scenes, and then for some reason got edited out. So I had no idea what to expect. But I've seen the movie. It's good. I'm in it.
Wow, that's cool.
Our editor, our director, everybody did such an amazing job. It's actually a really, really good movie.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm looking forward to it. And, Lindsay, with what you were just saying, sometimes with scenes getting cut out and stuff. And remember, most famously, at least recently, as Jared Leto had voiced his displeasure regarding Suicide Squad and the fact that, he did great as the Joker, but he had a lot more scenes, a lot more that he shot, and I guess he was in some shock that, they took quite a bit of his part out, and it's always interesting to see some of that. Or sometimes, a cameo or maybe a smaller role in a movie gets cut out, but then you watch the DVD and the deleted scenes, and then, oh, there they are. It shows up.
Yeah.
So it's sort of interesting how that always works. Do you have anything else on the horizon right now in terms of, the big screen or the small screen?
So I may be, nothing's solidified yet, so I'm probably not even supposed to be talking about it, but I may be filming a movie that we will shoot in Austin in November, and the cast is just as star-studded as it's a bounce back. So I'm really excited about it. I hope it all works out, and then I'll be able to give you guys more details. This one would be circulating through Sundance Film Festival, Toronto Film Festival.
Ooh, wow.
And the director and producer on this are just incredible. So I really hope this works out. I really hope I get to be a part of it. But I'll be doing Super Bowl again this year, and it's in my hometown, Houston. And so I'm really excited. I just got to go back there this past week, and the city's already getting ready for Super Bowl.
Oh, really? Wow. What are the chances the Cowboys will be in their home city come Super Bowl?
You know what?
Playing on the field.
Well, the Cowboys are in Dallas, so it'll be. I think the chances that the Texans.
Oh, Houston. Yeah, I wasn't listening, was I?
Dave does that from time to time.
That's one of the bloopers we'll have on NBC. Yeah, I was thinking of Irving, Texas, where the Cowboys play.
Yeah.
But, yeah, you're right. Never mind that question. Let's go.
I don't think.
Yeah.
I think the Cowboys have a greater chance of making the Super Bowl than the Texans, for sure. I'm not sold on Brock Osweiler as a quarterback.
Yeah. Or
his offensive line, but no, I definitely think the Cowboys have a decent chance, especially if they keep in Dak Prescott. I mean, I just think that he's been sensational since he's been in, and I know Jerry Jones is saying that he's gonna put in Tony Romo after their bye week. But
oh, really?
That's what he came out and said last week. But I just don't. And I know Jerry is very, very loyal to Tony, but I don't think it's a smart move because they have such a great chemistry going with Ezekiel Elliott and the young guys, and they just click. And once you take that away from them, even if Romo plays well, I mean, obviously he's going to be rusty coming off an injury, but even if he plays well, I don't think you can top what the Cowboys are currently doing. And then say Romo doesn't play well and you try to put Dak back in, I don't think you'll have the same chemistry that you had. So I would not mess with what they have going because it's a great thing. And I'm anxious to see how Ezekiel Elliott will play this week against the Packers because they've been tremendous at stopping the run. So it'll be interesting to see how productive he'll be against their defense.
Yeah, that'll be really interesting. But I agree with you with chemistry. You don't want to mess with chemistry. If it's working, if it's flowing, why disrupt it? And that's every team needs that chemistry typically, and it just puts you in a zone, which is where you want to be. So, wow. So you got a lot of good stuff going on. But you still live in LA, I think, right?
Yeah. Well, I've been spending more time with my family in Texas lately, but I'm still in LA.
Wow, very cool. So you're sort of a world traveler, or will be very soon. Well, we really appreciate
Real quick, have you had a chance to go to any Rams games yet?
Oh, good question.
I haven't. I checked out some of their practices and training camp and stuff, but I haven't gotten a chance to go to one of the games at the Coliseum yet. It is. I've been busy watching all the other great games.
Oh yeah, you're pretty busy. There's no doubt about it. But and football definitely is. It's been a big part of your career.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's been a big part of my life. I mean, my whole family kind of has roots in sport. My grandpa was a defensive end for University of Illinois, and then was drafted by the Redskins. So it's kind of always been in my blood, and I can't imagine not having football in my life in some capacity.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure you're going to get the best of both worlds, broadcasting, still involved in sports, and become a great, great actor. They used to call actresses, but now they call them actors, I believe. That's the terminology. Am I right, Lindsay?
Yeah, I've heard that. I think that's one of those female empowerment terms.
Yeah.
So now we're all equal as actors. I don't know why can't we all be actresses?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Why did they go the other way? I agree with you. It didn't make sense. And one last prediction. No, it's not who's going to win the Super Bowl, whether Dallas moves to Houston and becomes the real Texans. I'm just kidding. It's really who is going to win on November 8th, the presidential race. Who's going to win?
Ooh.
I'm not asking I'm not saying who you're for, but who do you think will eventually win this deal?
Who do I think will win? This is tough because I've been really enjoying watching these debates.
Me too.
It feels like Sunday Night Football to me when these come on. I get really excited. I get my popcorn out. You never know what's going to come out of either one of their mouths.
Exactly.
Honestly, I wish I didn't have to vote for either because I'm not sold on either.
Right.
But as of right now, if there's not a third debate, I think more people are going to vote for Hillary.
Yeah.
But I think Trump could turn things around in this final and third debate. We'll just have to stay tuned and see. This will be interesting. It's like we're watching a movie. It's like the bounce back.
It's sort of like almost if you ever watched WWE, like, and everyone knows I'm for Hillary. I'm voting for her, and I can't stand Trump. But he reminds me of Vince McMahon. It's almost like this is some skit that he's doing. It's almost like he's punking everyone. And then one day, 30 years from now, it will be like a documentary he was actually making. Because it just seems so hard to believe that some of the stuff is really happening or being said. But
being said, I think. But you know what? Not to be political, but what is hard from the media standpoint, and Lindsay, you're part of the media.
Yeah.
It's astonishing to me personally that the talk of the locker room talk is still dominating the news for 8 days.
Yeah.
I mean, you turn on a station, and there it is. You see the film again. You see, all these things. Maybe some more people coming out saying, "Oh that's right. That happened to me." Looks like the same guy. But anyway, so it's interesting, and it's sort of, I think, sad that the media has so much influence. Because what they play on their newscast, in a way, is influencing the country. Does that make sense?
100%. I think there is a website where you can go and see where each of the candidates stand on all of their different policies and all the different issues. Yeah. Because that should be how we vote, is based on, do you agree with this particular candidate's policies? Because once they get into office, it's not going to be about the videos. It's not going to be about the debates and who yelled at who and who interrupted who. It's going to be the issues that we didn't discuss and that the media didn't discuss. It's going to be those things that we have to now deal with. So I wish, and hopefully on the third debate, they'll address more of those issues.
Yeah.
But I think that's what's most important, that everybody knows where each candidate stands on all of the major issues and then votes for the candidate that is in alignment with what they believe and what they want for this country.
Yeah, and as explosive as I think the second debate was, I think that the third debate will be the Super Bowl of all debates because you do have Chris Wallace as the moderator, and he's not afraid to mix it up, and really he's gone after Donald Trump. He's gone after Hillary. Pretty much equal treatment, I think, and he's going to press hard. That's his style. I don't think the others necessarily pressed everyone hard, but I do think Chris Wallace will. So, yeah, I think that's next Wednesday. Get your tickets now. No, I'm kidding. There's no tickets available. But get your popcorn.
I think they should have Ken Bone as the moderator.
Yeah. I think so, too.
Wait, who was that?
Ken Bone.
Oh.
Our favorite mustache and red sweater. Yeah.
That would be very cool.
He's adorable.
Adorable. Yeah, it should be interesting. So we'll see what's at stake as our country. But, the entertainment keeps going on. But it is, I've been looking forward to these debates as well. So, Lindsay, thank you so much. As your movie comes out, we'll get you on again just to keep the promo up for your movie coming out December 9th, The Bounce Back. I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you. Thank you guys for having me, too.
You're more than welcome. Always a pleasure, Lindsay.
Oh, thanks.
Thank you, and we'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
That's Lindsay McCormick, super talent sports broadcaster, actress. I said actress because I think she felt it'd be actress. And, hosting a lot of stuff with ESPN, ESPN all over the place. Multi-talented. She's really nice.
Oh, yeah, she's great. And, it was the first time we had her on and was in studio when the Super Bowl was here. And so that was exciting. And, she does fantastic with that. So looking forward to seeing her on the big screen there. And one of her co-stars, as she said, Bill Bellamy, one of my favorite MTV VJs from the past. So that kind of be fun to see him. I know he still does some stuff, but me personally, other than Kindergarten Cop Part 2, which also starred the great Dolph Lundgren, haven't seen him in as much personally. So that will be kind of exciting to also see him again on there.
Oh, that will be very, very good.
But Ken Bone, he's a great
I never actually heard of him.
Well, Ken Bone, if you're anything you do, if you need advice or help, or if you're having a lovemaking session, you need to tap out, Ken Bone is who will take your spot. So it's some good stuff.
I never heard of that,
Bone.
but that's going to be
Ken
ingenious,
Bone.
I think. And we are Breakthrough Sports Live, NBC Sports Radio AM 1060 KDUS in Phoenix. We're here at Tailgaters at 10146 West Lake Pleasant Parkway in Peoria. Come on down, enjoy the show, enjoy everything. We'll be right back.
Phoenix's unfiltered sports talk. AZ Sports Talk with Rock and Manooch. Weekdays from 3 to 6 on NBC Sports Radio AM 1060.
And welcome back again. You're listening to Breakthrough Sports live at Tailgaters in Peoria. Come on down, 10146 West Lake Pleasant Parkway in Peoria. We're here till 4, and they're open till 2, though. I think 2 o'clock in the morning every night. Unbelievable place. Really enjoyed her.
Full menu tonight till 12:30.
Yeah, and a great menu it is, as Greg is eating pizza, so am I, and wings. The wings are really good, too.
Delicious teriyaki sauce for the wings.
I like the service. The service is phenomenal. Our server is really amazing. However, let's get into the next special guest, and this person is a multi-talented entertainer, someone that is an actor, comedian, writer, producer, host, and keynote speaker, and performs on television shows, movies, commercials, stand-up comedy. Let's welcome Kente Scott. Hey, Kente.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. Now, did I say that? I saw the little thing over the E, so I assume it's Kente.
It is. I appreciate you respecting my accent aigu over the last week.
Oh, yeah. No doubt about it. Boy, I love comedians. I mean, I think that's a special talent, a stand-up comedian. Tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got in comedy. And then you're also great, you love sports, too, so we'll talk a little bit about that, too.
Okay. Well, I got into acting. I went to UCLA, started doing commercials my freshman year, and the residual money was really good. And I was like, I can do this on the side. And then my senior year, my mother came down because I have a family that likes to joke on each other a lot. And she said, I'm not leaving here until you get on stage somewhere because I'm tired of you giving away these jokes for free. So after she was there for like 7 days, I was like, oh, she's serious. She's not leaving. So I went to the Comedy Store, did the New Faces open mic segment, and talked about my parents whooping my butt for 3 minutes, and they laughed, and I was hooked.
Wow. Hey, that's sort of good. So you owe a lot to your mom to get you going, huh?
I do. She pushed me in the deep end of the pool just like she did when she taught me how to swim.
Oh, man. I guess that's a good way to learn, actually. Just jump right in. But did you know you were funny, though? I mean, before going on stage?
No. I was. I knew I could keep up with my cousins because they would just hit you with jokes, and you had to hit them back, or you're gonna be mincemeat. But I knew I could make my family laugh. I didn't know I could make complete strangers laugh until it actually happened.
Yeah, and that's got to be rewarding for you to say, "Wow, this really does work." And now it says, I'm reading a bunch of stuff about you, and it says you draw your inspiration for comedy from the never-ending life as a bachelor and being a single father of a teenage daughter, as well as hilarious family and upbringing. So is that where you get your material?
Yeah, I could literally do an HBO special, hour-long special just on my bad dating life. I don't know if it's who I'm picking or maybe, I don't know what it is, but it's hilarious. I've had years of bad dates lately, so it's been great. And then my daughter is a teenage girl. I'm a single father, so trying to figure out this alien who lives in my house because she was great until she was 12, and then 13, she became the exorcist demon.
Oh, yeah. I hear you. Now, while keeping it clean, since we are in NBC Sports AM 1060, what makes a bad date? You got me intrigued now. You said bad dating life. So what does that mean?
It just, I don't know, mine always turns to the left for some reason. Like, for example, I went on a date, and the lady was like, it's your birthday, so we'll go to the movies. You pay for the tickets, I'll pay for the snack bar. And I picked her up, and without her even looking in her purse, she said, I forgot my wallet. I said, well, how do you know that? I just have a feeling.
Oh, my gosh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Wow.
We got to the snack bar, and she tried to order one of everything. And she was like, I was like, what are you doing? She was like, I'm celebrating our first date. I said, we're going to celebrate with these red vines I snuck in my pocket. That's what we're celebrating with.
That's good. Wow, you could probably do a whole routine on bad datings. That would, I think a lot of people would relate to that, actually, right? Don't you think?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what makes it funny.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I found that the more truth it has in it, the more pain that I have in my life makes other people laugh at it because they don't have to deal with their pain and struggles.
Now, I can't say, is any of this involve online dating, perhaps, or some of your dating been through, meeting through mutual friends, things like that?
Yeah, I'm the one that everybody now is like, I got a friend for you. And I'm like, well, why? I even have single friends that hook me up with women, and I'm like, well, why won't you go out with her? It's like, they're perfect for you, not for me. Yeah, but I haven't done online dating because I'm a little old school. I like to see you in 3D. I don't really trust that picture because it could be from like 1995.
Right.
That actually happened to me. I'm not kidding. I went on this online date. I don't know which one, but, well, even if I did, I won't probably mention it. But so I'm sitting there, and I am waiting for this person, and people are coming in, and I don't recognize anyone. And then someone comes up from behind me. She goes, oh, are you Dave? I go, yeah, I'm Dave. I go, who are you? She goes, don't you recognize me? I go, are you kidding me?
Oh.
Have you seen your picture? It's like 30 years younger.
And you're not even mentioning the story where the person wasn't even a woman anymore.
Oh, yeah. No, that's a joke. But, no, really, they do have, it's actually quite a bunch of stories with these. I bet you could have.
Yeah.
You could talk about this all day long, and the girl that I met that said she looked like, who's that girl? Let's see. She's really well known. She was in with, Jason.
Jason.
No, the guy.
Jason Bourne? Or Jason from Friday the 13th?
Jason Segel?
Yeah, Jason Segel.
Oh, okay.
The naked tape one. What was it?
Oh, Cameron Diaz.
So this girl said she looks just like Cameron Diaz. So I go out and I go, like maybe 20 years later. And no, it was, and she goes, well, she lies about her age because she doesn't think anyone would go out with her. Have you ever experienced that, women lying about their age?
Oh, yes. I live in L.A., so it's almost sacrilegious to ask a woman what her real age is. So, yeah.
That is just too funny.
I just look at their neck and their fingers. I was like, by the rings on your neck, you are 75.
Yeah, it would help to learn about what's it called, tree scientific aging
like
processes.
Yeah.
So what? Tell us what you're going to be doing. You've done a lot, actually. You've been in TV. And Anton Fisher, great movie, by the way. Nutty Professor, too, was great. You're going to do more stand-up comedy, more movies, television? What do you think?
All of the above. Whichever one is writing the check that week, that's what I'm going to do. Doing a stand-up show called Laugh TV. I'm filming an episode of that, taping an episode of that next Thursday at Pechanga in Temecula, California. So that'll be airing in the next couple of months. It's a nationally syndicated show. I have a web series that we're in the second season called Class Dismissed, where I play a PE teacher who wants to be a stand-up comic. It's a stretch, I understand, but I can do it.
Wow, nice.
Yes, and then I just did an episode of a Bounce TV show called In the Cut, and I'm up for a role in a show called Stand-Up, a movie called Stand-Up, so I'm auditioning for that. So a lot of great things going on that actually all are coming from me being on stage doing stand-up.
That is really awesome. And what's your goal? I mean, what's your ultimate goal in life and as in your chosen career? How do you see yourself, 5 years from now?
Well, my sister and I have a production company. We wrote a sitcom called Back in the Nest, which is loosely based on our family. So we want to we're actually in talks to get it in production. So in 5 years, I'd love to be in at least the fourth season of that, starring and producing that. And also, on my way to being Kevin Hart, Chris Rock status. I'd be all right with making $87 million in a year.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they do pretty good.
Right.
They each do, actually. That Kevin Hart, didn't he? God, I saw some promo that he did at one of the big football stadiums, and he sold it out. He just did
his movies come out, and they filmed it at Philadelphia's football stadium, and he sold it out. It was like 53,000 people, like the largest concert in America. Yeah, the largest stand-up concert in America. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. That's phenomenal, really. And
right.
Yeah, I like both of them. Chris Rock, I really enjoy. I think he is just hilarious. He's really, really good. Now, what's your favorite sport?
My favorite sport is football. Played it growing up and played it for 15 minutes in college. So it's my favorite sport, followed by basketball. But yeah, football season, I'm in hog heaven right now.
Oh yeah. Now, who's your team? Who do you like?
Professionally, I grew up in Oakland, so I'm an Oakland Raider fan, but I just heard they're moving to Vegas, so I will not be taking that road trip with them, so I'll be a pro football gypsy if they do move to Vegas.
So they haven't officially announced it,
not yet? They haven't officially announced it, but they've Mark Davis put out a statement yesterday saying that he's going to sign the paperwork, and all they would need is the 23 or 24 votes from the other owners. So, and you understand, Oakland doesn't have the kind of money to build a $1 billion stadium, and Mark Davis doesn't have the money to build it on his own. So, go to one of the casino places and have them build it for you. So, but I can't be. I was an Oakland Raider fan. I was an LA Raider fan, and then an Oakland Raider fan. Vegas Raiders just doesn't roll off my tongue right.
Yeah, it really doesn't, does it? Now, of course, next season they'll have a National Hockey League team. I don't know if they picked a name yet. I haven't heard.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, so it's interesting how that's developing into a mega entertainment, entertainment and sports. Now, growing up in Oakland, I can't remember the place, but there's a very well-known ice cream place. Do you know what I'm talking about?
You're talking about Fenton's?
Yeah, what's it called?
Fenton's ice cream on
Fenton's,
Yes.
Yeah. So how did you go there a lot? I was the last 2 times I've been in Oakland, I went there.
Yes, went there. I go there as much as possible. I have a fat kid living inside of me, so I would go as much as possible. I still go, but I have to get it like few and far between now because my metabolism is slowed down. The fat kid is starting to break out a little bit more often.
Wow. Plus, you don't live in Oakland anymore, right?
Yeah, but I go. I still have family up there, so I'll go up there, and I do shows out in that neighborhood. So I go maybe once or twice, once every couple of months. Yeah. So.
Yeah, Fenton's is great. My wife grew up in Oakland, and she said that was where it's happening. And when we went there, I went there, and it was excellent. Very, very good. Very well known. And so let's see, football, so the Raiders, but if they move to Vegas, all bets are off.
Yes, and I'm a big, for college football, I'm a big Florida State fan, even though I went to UCLA. Been a Florida State fan ever since Deion Sanders and the Jerry Curl was there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you went to UCLA, so you're not a UCLA, are you a UCLA basketball fan?
Yeah, I'm a UCLA basketball, and I'm a UCLA football fan, especially when they play USC. So that's when I talk my most trash. But I love UCLA sports, football, basketball. The basketball team is they keep having all these one and done. So as soon as they start to get halfway decent, they kind of fell off last year. So, but they got a pretty good class coming in this year. So basketball team look like might be right back there trying to keep up with the Kentuckys of the world. That's
right. When did you go to UCLA, by the way?
I went to UCLA in the 90s, back in the 90s. Right between Troy Aikman and Bob Slido was the coach. So J.J. Stokes and all those guys were there. So that's when I realized that I was no longer built for football because these guys were really big.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no doubt. And one of my favorite coaches of all time, John Wooden, and I think he was probably retired by then, I believe. I think he retired in the late 80s, right?
Yes, but he would be around. His presence was always there. I actually met him one day at a UCLA basketball game. One of the nicest men I've ever met. Yeah, he was great, but yeah, he was like a fixture,
Oh, just tremendous. I mean, what can you say about beyond talent? I mean, he was really a good human being, and but he just had success like no one will match, really.
Right.
Phenomenal. So, yeah, UCLA, I used to have an office in Century City, so I was very close to UCLA.
Yeah,
and,
you're right up the street.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, great school, no doubt about it. So, are you ever going to be in Phoenix doing stand-up, maybe at the Improv?
Yes, I'm actually working on trying to get to Phoenix in the next couple of months. So if I get down there, I'll definitely let you guys know well in advance.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, we'll get you on there again. And, that'd be fun. Yeah, Improv's a nice place. They have some other comedy places here. And, however, it's, it's a good place to perform. Pretty big city, sixth largest, I think. But, well, your daughter, how old is your daughter?
My daughter is 18. So she is on the outskirts of teenagedom, so she's almost out of her exorcism phase. Yeah.
Wow, so there'll be a whole new phase for you with then new material.
Yeah, she's a gift. Her and my family are the gift that keeps on giving in terms of comedy. Because between her and my father, who is hilarious in his own right.
Really?
Yeah, I can write material. Yeah, my father's 78, but he doesn't know it. Like, we went to he came out to celebrate his birthday in L.A., and we went to a restaurant. I went to the bathroom, and I came back, and he was arguing with a table full of 30-year-old big guys. And I was like, Pops, what are you doing? And he said, I'm about to knock one of these guys out. I said, Pops, your knockouts have expired.
Oh, man, that's so funny.
Yeah,
wow.
So he's great. And the great thing about them is they're very supportive. Like, they allow me to use them as in my material, and they still come out to the shows and don't get too mad about it.
Well, that's good. Yeah, usually the funniest stuff is sort of life experience, and I think, I can't wait to see you do a whole thing on bad dating. That's the show that will be a highlight, or maybe dating tips, the do's and the don'ts. What do you think?
Well, I have the 5 things that'll make a man happy for the rest of your life if you're dating, for the ladies, which is sustenance, sex, space, silence, and sports. And I break it down for them. So I have all of it.
Oh, really?
Yes.
And is that the comedy routine, or is it you're going to write a book about that?
It's a pamphlet, but it's in my comedy routine. But yeah, that's George. Sustenance, cook, sex, yes. Space. We need a man cave. Silence. Every once in a while, please be quiet. Sports,
that is
we love
really
it.
Good. Wow. And the sequel will be A Locker Room Talk by Trump Tower. No.
Exactly.
I'm kidding. Wow. So controversial these days, all this stuff.
Yes.
But, anyway, Kente Scott, thank you so much for calling. How do they get in touch with you, your website, so they know what you're doing, how they can see you, all that stuff?
Yeah, KenteScott.com, KenteScott. If you put that in, I'm the only one on the net with that name, so all my stuff will come up. Contagious on Instagram and Snapchat and whatever other app they have out right now. My first name, KenteGious. And, yeah, you can find everything I'm doing, where I'll be, and what I have coming down the pipeline.
Well, that's good. We'll follow your career, and when you're out in Phoenix, give us a shout. We'll get you on again and talk about where you're going to perform. And even if you're not in Phoenix, we'll get you on again. You are a gentleman and very funny. We really appreciate you.
Oh, well, thank you, and thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it.
Oh, you're more than welcome. Have a great day.
All right, you too.
All right, thanks. And that's Kente Scott. Wow, bad dating. Yeah, that could be. That'd be a big hit, I think.
I think it would. I mean,
it's funny.
Anything, on that subject, is for the most part. But, if he put that together, I think that would be fantastic. Or maybe write a screenplay on it and, stories you have or friends, and you could bring in everything. Because, I've heard some really crazy things, and I think it's just the nature of it, really, where that happens. So, yeah, I'd be all over that, to see that.
Yeah. He and he got some ideas from us. No, I'm kidding. But, his website's pretty cool, too. A lot of different things on his website. So, wow. So, let's see. What's on tap tonight? So, you got the Coyote game at 7.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that Austin Matthews will make his home debut for the Maple Leafs.
Oh, yeah.
Not a very good first game for him in Ottawa. He only had 4 goals. So,
ooh.
Yeah, just 4 goals. Not up to par. No, unbelievable. In the modern era, first player in his first ever game to do that, 4 goals.
Wow.
Unbelievable, the talent that he has. And unfortunately, the Maple Leafs, did lose in it was either overtime or shootout. I mean, they got a point out of it. But he's already dubbed like the greatest Leaf of all time. He is just amazing, and it's going to be a lot of fun to watch his career. Just extra excitement for fans locally, and I've heard news outlets, other shows, but not sports-related shows. Just talk about it big time that he's from here, from Scottsdale, and it's great. I mean, so that's another way that really helps grow the game. I mean, see the success of some of these guys, but especially in Austin Matthews, and there he's up with arguably the biggest hockey market there in Canada, and the face of the franchise really already, and the big key for their rebuild. And again, 1 game, but 4 goals in your first game, just spectacular. And he's going to be a force for a long time. He's big, he's smart, defensive, responsible. A lot of them said maybe compared to like an Andrzej Kopitar, but probably actually even more offensive ability even, or would use it more perhaps. And yeah, just amazing. I still can't believe it, 4 goals. And I didn't get a chance to watch the game, but I kept seeing updates. Oh, now he has a hat trick. Oh, he scored again.
Wow, and I believe we still have my interview with him on BreakRadioShow.com and YouTube, I believe.
Yeah, you could
check
go
that
there
out.
On YouTube
just before he's picked number 1.
Yeah.
Nice guy. He was really.
Good kid, and just very exciting. I mean, like I said, for many years, youth hockey out here pick up. It's been fantastic for a while, but this really makes, I think it puts it on the map in terms of, worldwide across the country. You almost pay attention even more, going, wow, here you go from Scottsdale, Arizona. Not only number one overall pick, but obviously, sure you could say, well, one game, but you knew he'd have a great career anyways. But to score 4 goals in your first game, I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, 4 goals, period, in a game is something very rare, especially nowadays. Getting a hat trick, very rare. I mean, obviously it's done, but on your first game to do that, and then in the first 2 periods.
No, that's
40
remarkable.
minutes of hockey, getting 4 goals, a teenager, first game, just unbelievable. So much great young talent. And then second-year guy, but Connor McDavid, I mean, we've just seen take the Oilers by storm here, and they, in a home-and-home with Calgary, win both games. So,
and they're 2-0, and I don't know. I get this feeling this is a year I think we picked them for the playoffs, actually.
Yeah. I think, again, it's just 2 games in. If they're healthy, I like what they have up front and adding Lucic. And the key is, Adam Larson on the back end, a young top pairing type of guy. If he keeps developing Clefbaum, I think there's enough. I think they'll be back in the playoffs this year.
Yeah, so... Yeah, it's been, 10 years?
It's been a while.
Big drought. It's been a huge while. We were sort of surprised, but not this year. I think they will overtake,
the type of personnel they have. Yeah. I think they will. And I think Calgary will have a nice year. Yeah, they lost the first 2, but big deal. They'll snap out. They'll be fine. And so it'll be interesting. But big injuries to start the year because, unfortunately, Sidney Crosby had a concussion. So, he's out. And then you had Jack Eichel, who got that injury literally at the end of practice.
Oh.
Day or 2 before the season starts, and now he's out for quite a while. And Jonathan Quick, in the first period, in the last 30 seconds of the first period, a massive growing injury. He could be out till January or February, which, who knows what that does to, the Kings.
Major injuries to the teams, it seems like.
Yeah, and you don't want to see anyone get hurt, but especially, when you see the stars. But it makes the rest of the guys bond together a little differently. But for Buffalo, up-and-coming team, huge loss. But, and they big addition, battled injury as well with training camp. So unfortunate, but hopefully they get healthy and, can see improvement. Team like the Sabres.
Yeah, that'd be important. So, all right, when people get out there tomorrow, watch ASU play. I think you'll be impressed. Men's Hockey Division I.
Yeah.
I believe it's a 2 o'clock start at Gila River. So, good. They're playing Air Force, number 18, ranked number 18. So I think that would be really a good way to gauge how your ASU team is doing, and it is good hockey.
Right. Oh, and tonight for our baseball fans, well, first of all, Cleveland just took a 2-0 lead in the series, but Dodgers and Cubs kick off Game 1 of the NLCS there at Wrigley Field, 5 o'clock our time start, Fox Sports 1. You can watch that on TV.
And don't forget, if you want to watch it, come down here. Tailgaters, that's where we are right now. Tailgaters in Peoria, 10146 West Lake Pleasant Parkway in Peoria. They're open till 2. Great food, great menu, great service, and you can see some great sports action. And thank you to all our guests, Kente Scott, Lindsay McCormick, Curtis Poshelka, Dave Isaac, and I think they've got everyone. Everyone have a great week.
Andy Tufto. See you in 2 weeks.
See you 2 weeks.